really needs a big one to step up for Sydney, have any chance to win this game. Gary Rowan, he was terrific last week and starting on the half-back line.
We're underway at the SCG. Both teams 5 wins, 5 losses coming into this crucial clash. Jude Bolton gets the immediate takeaway. Jetta knocks it to his and Jack's advantage. Boundary line looming for Jetta. Got there quickly, takes them on and couldn't quite keep it alive, and we'll get a ball in.
Handy pickup from Jetta. Close to the boundary line, wasn't able to keep it in, but at high pace, got low and took the ball clean.
Mumford, front spot. Kirk, where he normally is, on the bottom of the pack, getting it out. O'Keefe hacks it forward. Travel the required 15. Welsh back into the lineup this week. Gives to Lovett Murray. Missed the attempted target. Mumford dives in. Had 6 clearances. In fact, cleared a lot of his own work last week. Shane Mumford wasn't worried about getting his knees dirty, which some big men occasionally are.
Oh, he was great last week. Sydney's last quarter, they were terrific. They had 8 inside 50s last week, and it was about Mumford's ruck work. That's the reason why they got the ball in there.
And he laid a tackle there, was unlucky not to win a free, and lays another tackle to keep it tied in. Well, get a ball up.
He's the player that it's involved in this game so far. He's just wants to get involved. He's a competitor. Had the 13 contested gets last week as well, so doesn't mind any sort of facet of the game.
We'll have to worry about Ryder and Hill pushing forward. That's what we'll have to focus on today, because Ryder and Hill can push forward and kick some goals.
Jude Bolton and then McVeigh playing against his brother today. Gets a toe poke towards half forward. Stolen by Hanbury, last week's best on ground. Inside to White. Has the shot at goal. Perfect start for Jesse White and the Swans.
That's a terrific start for Sydney. Mumford's work around the stoppage is crucial. And Jesse White, no Dustin Fletcher. Just have a look at Michael Hurley here. Alistair, you played a lot of footy at full back and at full forward. Just spectates the ball there and allows Smith out the back. And you've got to impact the contest or the ball. He just spectated. He was here nor there, so he either had to really put a hard tackle on there, the Sydney Swans player. Missed both the tackles, and there's Jesse White out the back for a crucial goal to Sydney.
Kicked 3 goals last week, Jesse White, but from only 4 kicks against Hawthorn. Looked a little rusty first game back last week. Does play a lot better here at the SCG.
Well, it's a big loss already for Essendon. Dustin Fletcher, is out for a week through tripping. So Michael Hurley normally played most of his career thus far at Essendon up in the forward line. He's filling in for Dustin Fletcher.
So no Fletcher, no Hooker, of course, in their defence, and no Stanton in the middle. If you joined us late, he is a late withdrawal. Ben Howlett, a late inclusion, is Gumbleton, whose hands have been superb this year, takes a strong mark.
Super grab against some pressure from Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Very strong hands.
First inside 50 for the Bombers. High ball, floats the pack. Zaharakis got back. Jude Bolton read it best and finds the line.
Oh, that was very good play from Jude Bolton. But have a look at the Gumbleton mark here. He's got strong hands. It's a very good mark there, under a lot of pressure from Lewis Roberts-Thompson. It was a good play from Jude Bolton, getting out of the back of the pack in that instance.
Ryder dashes to the front. Mumford with the reach, though. Knocks it down. McVeigh, little push in the back for the younger of the 2 McVeigh brothers. Jared the younger, but the one without the hair. And Mark the older, 3 years older, to the outer side. Hocking couldn't trap it. And Mumford again. Gets the handball out. Prismal. Watson. Back to Prismal. And he can set it up again. Spears that to half forward, terrible, and waiting for it, Matner.
Well, Zaharakis was the option, and went over the back to Matner there. So when you're playing at a guy like Matty Matner, you need to hit Zaharakis up. It's so important for those half forwards for Essendon to get a touch early.
Kirk.
Just a blind kick to no one, really. Adam Goods was running the other way.
Good tackle, though, from Jack, and that's his forte. Not down to Mark McVeigh. Shuffles it out. O'Keefe. Good opportunity here. Touch play on was the call. And bounces across. Paul Roos, as he likes to do, coaching from the bench. Michael Voss coaching from the bench last
Hardwick
night
as well. Spends a lot of time down on the dugout.
Mumford and Ryder will knock down to McVeigh. Off his scone, then kicks toward full forward. Drifting ball and taken through by Mark McVeigh.
Quick exit from the Bombers. Just weren't quick enough to set up the zone with the Swans.
So Monfries can pounce and go if it sits.
Rowan's got good speed.
Didn't, but he got it regardless. Hocking, sidestep, handball not so good. Chance for O'Keefe. Dives on it. Monfries dived on him. Umpire calling for them to knock it out. They like paying one of these early.
To set the standard early, the umps.
Yes.
And we see more and more when it's very, very difficult to get the ball out from under the pack that these free kicks are paid.
Umpires Steve McBurney, Scott McLaren and Simon Meredith today. Fresmont. Gets the call.
Good man in the mark there from McVeigh.
Sits it up. Gumbleton with the leap. Couldn't bring it down. Grundy got a hand on it as well.
Have a look at Gary Rowan. He played really well down back. Just lost the body. Had to have a go at the ball or the body. You've got to get one of them. And you just to move Monfries up the ground with his body there. So he'll learn from that, Gary Rowan.
O'Keefe, boundary line if he wants it. He wants it.
You're spot on with Spud, with that Spud. I mean, very important to not run past the ball. If it's gone over the back, you certainly have to have body pressure on to not allow your opponent to turn you around. Got away with that one, but I'm sure there'll be something to be discussed from the defensive coach at the Swans.
Mumford flicked forward. Davey paddled it to his own advantage and then let it go as he thought he was going to be tackled, playing for the free. There is the free. It's going to Rhys Shaw.
Well, listen, have a real focus on making sure that Shaw, Matt and Malcheski don't get their running game going. Man the market with all your life.
So he's only got one-on-ones to look at here. White the target. It's wide and he read it okay and then drop-kicked it out on the full.
It's unlucky. I mean, there was a poor attempt at mark, but unlucky to kick it out in the full.
Well, it was. Hurley was just a real soft tap to the back with White. He had to be strong with that with his hands.
Nice way to get your first kick if you're Hurley. In fact, he sets up his second kick with a short pass that didn't come off. Zaharakis make that a third kick. Wobbles it towards full forward. Again, O'Keefe read it best. It was a floater.
There's a way here for Adam Goods.
And he can get and go.
Then you've got Bird for further on.
He's got Hanbury or Bird. Takes on Pears. Kicks it along the line. In fact, kicks it over the line. Adam Goods coming off an average game. Last week, Adam Goods, he was beaten by young Hawk Ben Stratton. In fact, he failed to get a possession in the third quarter last week, which had a big input into Sydney Swans losing the game.
And when he did get it, Dwayne, unfortunately, was kicking behind. So
yeah, absolutely.
That was really hurting his confidence.
Monfries.
So they need a big game from Adam Goods today.
No doubt about that, whether it's up in the midfield, but more importantly, needs to hurt the Bombers on the scoreboard.
Gumbleton almost plucked that.
Yeah, I think he should have spoilt there, Dwayne. It's okay if you're flying behind, but you've really got to get a strong spoil. I thought Davey and Jetta were trying to work to the coalface. Just bring the ball to the ground and let your half forwards get to work for the Bombers.
You would have attempted to mark that, Alistair, surely.
Oh, if it's there, put the saddle on and have a crack.
What about if you're playing down at full-back, Lynchy?
Yeah, you got the fist clenched and you just put it into the grandstand.
That's why we defer to you, Lynchy. You're unbiased. At least you played both ends.
Yeah, when you play defence, especially at this stage of the game, you have just got to kill the contest. But yeah, Gumbleton, just when you're a couple deep and you haven't got space in front of you, you've probably got to get it to the front for the crumbing forwards.
Mike Pike in the ruck now for the Sydney Swans. McVeigh, slick hands. Jack to half forward. Mark taken by Bird. Back into the team this week after just one game in the Sydney reserves last week. Craig Bird coming off that stress fracture.
Goods.
And Goods is still out of form. Shuffles it out. Jetta.
It's a bad drop, isn't it?
Hocking, Gumbleton. Takes the mark, took a couple of steps, but holds it up. Zaharakis leads wide. It's in his direction. He'll really have to get the skates on, and does. Marks on 50.
Well, that's a bad drop from Adam Goods, because all the Essendon, the whole Sydney Swans team have now had to run 150 metres because that drop marked.
Winderlich marks on 50. Maybe within range. Mentioned when these two teams met here last year, he kicked 3.
Paddy Ryder.
To the top of the square. Ryder holds up and still marks it. Well, he could have put the saddle on then, but he played the percentages and it came off.
You have a look at Mumford. It's okay to get behind the players that kick behind, but when your direct opponent in Paddy Ryder's in a really dangerous space, you have to basically man up, and just lost Paddy Ryder out of his eyesight there.
And the mismatch with McVeigh just standing in front of Paddy Ryder. On with you, Dwayne. I thought maybe the big knee in the back and put him out of play.
Well, you've got a licence to go for them early in the game, surely. Kicked 2 goals, 1 last week, and he's got the 1 on the board this week.
Well, that's the beauty of Ryder and Hill. They're both on the ground at the moment. And you can see Mumford there just to the left of the screen.
Mike Pike, in fact.
Mike Pike, sorry. Well, yeah, that's a confusion there that they create Hill and Ryder.
And you're right, Mumford probably, with the more experience as a footballer, would have cured that contest better. Bevan thrown off it. Davey gives it up. Watson a chance. Decides to pass off instead. Zaharakis another opportunity. Right. Gumbleton from the square goals and scores a level.
Very good goal from the Bombers on that occasion. The tackling pressure, as we've spoken about, when the Bombers play well, their tackling pressure's there and they cause turnovers. So good pressure to cause the missed kick. A little bit of a fumble there. Good tackle, but more importantly, there's massive numbers around the ball, and it was just a lottery there in the end. Just toss them up. Who wants to kick the goal? And good work on the rebound. Turnovers, kicking efficiency is an issue for the Swans.
Well, it's a great start for Gumbleton and the Essendon Football Club. Already they're tackling pressure. 13 tackles to Essendon, only 5 to Sydney. So tackling is their #1 criteria at the moment, the Bombers.
It was the tackle and the numbers at the contest. They had plenty of options going forward.
Hill easily beats Pike. Winderlick to Watson to half forward. Bouncing ball. Ryder, Roberts-Thompson. And that tackle slipped to the leg there. Winderlick through the legs of Kirk. McVeigh shuffles it back to Watson, misses Winderlick, and we'll get a ball in.
So Ryder's started at full forward and was out on the lead there. He'll take the ruck contest now as David Hill pushes forward. Now Mike Pike's had to push up to Ryder, and so there's a switch of opponents there, so LRT's gone back onto Hill.
It's a great luxury to have, isn't it? Both ruckmen pushing forward, so the defender is the one that's really got to communicate. Lewis Roberts-Thompson to the ruckman.
Chesky dives in, tries to shuffle one out, can't.
Numbers in there.
Plenty of numbers around that ball up.
And Spud, it is a luxury. What Essendon are going to continually try to do is get the likes of Mumford and Pike at full back. So make LRT go up and do the half-forward flank ruck work and isolate the big ruckman at full back.
Jude Bolton to Brett Kirk, wide. Play fair, strong hands.
It's been good play fair in recent weeks.
Adam Goods, another opportunity here, floats into it. He's worried out of it, now gets another chance. Peels onto it, kicks toward goal, and that's ugly.
Yeah, well, it's ugly, but Jesse White has to learn from that, because Adam Goods was waving to keep out because Michael Hurley came in and impacted on that play, so Jesse White had to stay at home.
Gee, they're playing in quickly from behind. Montfrey's caught, back to Atkinson, who gave it to him. Now Jetta, he's never kicked a goal, still hasn't. And he's having a bad run, Lewis Jetta. He's kicked 9 behinds to start his AFL career. Still yet to get a major.
If he keeps kicking them like that, it's going to be a while, I would have thought. But spot on, Spud again. Jesse White, that's something that there's no stat about that sort of running. You've got to run away from the contest when you can isolate a matchup that you're happy with. And a one-on-one certainly would have been much better for the Swans than a 2-on-2 or a 2-on-1 that it turned out to be.
Well, he nearly got Adam Goods killed, effectively.
Turnover. White gets an opportunity. Hurley does better there, although it's stolen by Mark McVeigh to get him out of trouble. So there's been a few turnovers in the last few passages of play. Winderlick, Hurley heads to the wing. Prismal. He's got one-on-ones ahead. Doesn't know which one to go to. Short. Jetta will do.
He's Hill full forward.
And he's kicked a little wide for Hill. Roberts-Thompson gets there first. Hill edges him out of it, but illegally.
It was a poor kick from the Bombers, though. Hill wanted the ball to grass, kicked it over his head. A bit of a let-off there because Lewis Roberts-Thompson didn't take much for him to go to ground. It was definitely a hand in the back.
LR2 wide to Gary Rowan. Clean bowled by it.
There's that kicking efficiency again. Just missing targets.
Jetta to Dempsey. Another golden opportunity here for the Bombers. They need a target inside 50. Monfries fell over by himself there. No free. Mumford got it. Gives it up to Kirk after getting it initially from Matner. And another turnover. Jetta. Matner again.
Basically, it's a let-off there. But Matner had the ball early, then give it to Mumford.
Yep.
The halfback, Mummy, I don't know whether he called for it, but just needs to use his big frame to protect Matner and Shaw and Malcheski when they get the ball.
So good tackle, Hanbury on that occasion.
He was coming off the game of his life last week. Daniel Hanbury, 25 possessions, 3 goals.
Is this Adam Goods waving away? You can see Jesse White just to the left of screen. He had to run hard towards goal, so Hurley couldn't impact on that. And I think that's why Adam Goods wasn't as ferocious at the contest, because he knew what was coming the other way from Hurley.
Could have taken the mark though, Adam Goods.
No doubt. No, I agree with you, Dwayne. He didn't go as hard as he would have liked, or Paul Roos would have liked for that matter.
McVeigh doing well, bounces onto that. Winderlich made that kick look superb.
Yeah, risky kick, and ended up very good.
McVeigh, Prismal.
The Riders found some space here. Should be able to run up the ground in space.
And gets it from Pears and can go. Kick wasn't all that good, although he can run onto it now perfectly. Zaharakis is inside 50. He goes longer. Hill one-on-one with Roberts Thompson. It bounces over the back and through for a behind and scores the level again.
Just had a feeling that the kicking efficiency for the Sydney Swans wasn't going well.
What is it, Litchi?
48% at the moment.
Well, the tackling pressure again, that's why the Bombers, you can't underrate the fact that their tackling pressure is causing a lot of that as well. And the indecision to go to the contest.
Yeah.
Front spot, Jack, strong grab. And now Adam Goods calls for it. Mumford gets it instead, although Goods will make it a 2-on-2. And can't keep it alive.
And Big Mumford, as you said, Spud, pre-game, he's a monstrous man. You don't want to put it out on the grass. Put it, if you're going to miss high,
Exactly.
so he can contest, use his big, strong body.
Big fist, almost worth a kick. McVeigh runs onto it, tried to slip a handball outside the dummy and then sold himself into trouble. Free kick, play on advantage, holding the ball it would have been. Hurley gets the kick away wide.
Good run from Gumbleton.
Outstanding mark as well to go with it, although umpire thought he didn't hold it.
Yeah, he probably dropped it when he hit the deck, Dwayne.
Grundy to O'Keefe.
Lining up inside for the Swans.
Player down.
High towards Pike. Goal square, Pike thumped away by Myers. Out of play.
Good spoil.
Very good
over
spoil.
the top of Mike Pike was running back towards goal. Brett Kirk just having a spell. Part of the rotations through the midfield of the Swans.
Mumford from behind, Jude Bolton. Tried the sneaky handball. Howlett, the late inclusion for Brent Stanton. And was that deliberate? It was close. Welsh out of play.
It was just a shocking handball, I think.
Was it? Okay.
I don't think it was deliberate. It's just slaughtered the handball.
Colby, did Kirk come off because Watson come off? Is that the matchup?
They seem to be running around together, Spud, but just going head to head. But what about the 3 blokes that came on for Essendon? Davey, Atkinson and Melksham. What about the speed there?
And Davey on cue, got it, gave to Prismal. Sidesteps a couple, and then wide kicks everybody, and we'll get a ball in on 50.
You would have had a run with roll with one of those guys, Colby, I'm sure. Just a little bit of speed over 20.
Just went past me.
Mumford and Ryder. Mumford again wins it. Jude Bolton again wins a clearance. Clean bowls Melksham. Kick around the body. Spectacular from Malcheski. Swans back in front. Touched off the boot. They all celebrated it.
Yeah,
He thought it was there. I thought it was there.
well, it was a good snap on goal, but I was actually going to be critical to say give the ball to Hanbury early. And let's have another look. Yeah, good decision.
Okay.
Very good decision from the umpire. But you see Daniel Hanbury there? I thought that was the option to Hanbury, to handball out the back. But anyway.
I don't know what it was like in your team, Spud, but we weren't allowed to do U-turns. Had to find someone to give the handball off so they were facing the goals. But
I think Roosie will show that, mate. There's no doubt Hanbury was in the right position to receive a handball and run round onto his left.
Hill crunches the pack.
knows?
Davey collects the crumb. Short pass. Tough one to grab. Good tackle on Zaharakis by Matner. Harry Rowan slung into the deck.
he's gone.
And had his prior opportunity according to the umpire.
Did he have prior opportunity?
Well, the umpire says he did, but
Gee, I'd like to have another look. And look, again, it's the tackling pressure of Essendon. Great from Leroy Jetta. We'll have to have another look.
Heavy contact as well.
There's the ball. He's got it.
lifted his arms up. Maybe it was the Prior opportunity by lifting the arms up, but it's tough.
See, the arm was pinned as well, so he couldn't brace for the fall or execute the handball.
I thought the tackle was at the same time he handled the ball.
Yep.
To me, that's not prior.
Leroy Jetta spears that straight over the goal umpire, and the Bombers are back in front.
Well, it was good work from the Essendon side. Once again, their tackling pressure is what generated the shot at goal, and here it is here. And not a lot in this for young Gary Rowan, and no, that's a tough one. And maybe the decision was even given the fact that he was on the ground and just didn't attempt to get it out. But yeah, red hot. Credit to Essendon's tackling pressure for that goal.
Tough task for Gary Rowan. He's yet to play in a win. 4 games, 4 losses against 4 outstanding teams: Geelong, the Dogs, Fremantle and Hawthorn. So it's been a big initiation for Gary Rowan. From the ball up, O'Keefe, clearance, Goods. Good to have his hands back. White leads in his direction. He gets there on the half volley, knocks it down to Jack, tries to shrug a tackle. Atkinson's tackle superb. No prior opportunity. So the umpire allowed play to continue on, and we'll get a ball up.
Just have a look at the tackling pressure here. 18 tackles to 11 at the moment. They're red hot at the moment, the Bombers, with their tackling.
It's been a complete turnaround from past seasons. The last 2 seasons wasn't certainly a massive strength of the Bombers.
Great smother from Leroy Jetta.
Just as good as a tackle. Watson.
It's actually better.
Zaharakis.
Now Hill and LRT
it's almost 50.
Isolating in the 50.
So he sends it in their direction. Hill, Lewis Roberts-Thompson got there with a knee, knocked it to his own advantage, took them on. Now, he didn't really have prior opportunity there. He did turn into the tackle. The umpire let him off. Hocking wobbles one forward. That'll play on the full from the boot of Heath Hocking.
Have a look, Spud, that you spoke about Malcheski. He was not interested in dishing off by hand, it is fair to say. He snuck up in the forward 50.
Well, he just didn't even have a look.
No, he didn't look. Just grabbed it and slapped it on the boot. Nearly a good goal, but it was touched. But I just think that one of the principles is look to give off in front to start with.
Well, Ron Barassi, early days of Malcolm Blight, he kicked a goal from the boundary line and dragged him. So he didn't do the team thing. So you've got to, yeah, if you kick the goal, you're still...
I think that's more of an indicator of their relationship than it was maybe the kick of the goal from the pocket.
We had the rule, everyone hit the top of the goal square from the boundary line, except for Acker, because fair dinkum, he used to kick him through all the time.
Don't tell me Acker was an exception to the rule.
Oh, you might surprise you, Dwayne.
So you started it.
It wasn't us.
One rule here at the moment, though, the kicking efficiency of Sydney, they've kicked 3 out in the full so far in this first quarter.
This is good for Hill. Lovett Murray long. Hill's advantage. Roberts-Thompson came back and virtually made it a 2-on-1. Grundy had an outstanding year at fullback. Bevan trouble, and Lucky Bird was there. Otherwise, that would have been deliberate.
Yeah, that was a good handball, I think, because it was deliberate, just over the top of Bird on that occasion. But they were under pressure, and once again, the pace, the intent of the Essendon small forwards to lay the tackle and put pressure on the ball carrier was to the fore on that occasion.
Pike just drops it down. Winderlick got it back. Kirk back on. Gave it up to Davey, and that was lucky to be 15. Grundy played on because he thought it wasn't.
Nowhere to
Hanbury.
go.
Lovett Murray tracks it down. Courtney Dempsey. Oh, slips under an attempted tackle from Gary Rowan. Sends it back to full forward, and Lewis Roberts-Thompson, last line of defence.
He's near a coat hanger. No, he's just ducked under. Very good reflexes.
Like a boxer. Jude Bolton. Back to Shaw.
Good corralling from the Bombers here.
Well, they need someone to present at centre-half forward.
But Josh Kennedy running hard.
And gets there to make a contest with Howlett. Ball hits the pack. Jesse White topoed. Was good. And he gets the reward. Back onto it. Can kick his second. Drives it home. Outstanding team goal.
That's what they've got to do. The Sydney Swans, they've got to take the game on. And it started with Reece Shaw down the back half. Too many times Sydney have gone back in their defensive 50 and gone back slow. They need to take the game on. You're going to make a couple of mistakes, but the run and carry. You see the game open up here, and it was good running there from Josh Kennedy. Also, there from Jesse White and Kieran Jack. This is a terrific pickup, flat out half volley handball to Jesse White. Great goal assist there from Kieran Jack.
Jesse White with the now traditional sleeve tattoo. We've got to defend our right to bear arms.
They've covered the arms.
Wayne,
most of the guys.
Kevin Murray was inducted into the Legend of the Hall of Fame. He was before his time. He was the first one with a few tats on the arm.
Yeah, you've got to be different now and not get one in the shower. Davey slips through and Lovett Murray forced to work for it. Handball not so good, put Welsh under immense pressure first game back after 4 weeks off for that high knee to the groin. And there's a free kick being found, but good to have him back, Andrew Welsh, for that Xavier Ellis indiscretion.
Matty Knights won't mind that free kick. Again, it was good forward pressure, trying to hold the ball in there.
Well, Bevan to Kennedy. He
ball
can go
was
here.
Forced back, so that was good.
Kennedy kicks it wide. Play fair the target. Couldn't gather initially, but kept it alive. Bird half ducked into that and got it high. Wins the free.
He's get quickly back off the mark.
Yeah,
Goods in a one-on-one contest.
What I've seen so far, LC, spot on, is play on quickly, Sydney. When they move the ball on quickly, they're looking dangerous. When they go back slow like this,
Goods.
I think it's playing at Essendon's hands.
Well, that's a low percentage pass to the boundary line in a
play
contest.
fair. Almost off hands. That'll do. Goal for Nick Smith.
Well, Spud, we know as playing a fair bit of football as defenders, if the ball's coming in quick, it puts you under an enormous amount of pressure in one-on-one situation. If you do still get the ball into a contested situation, put it to the top of the goal square quickly, and you make the contest as a forward, get it to the front, and then situations like that will happen. Nick Smith was in a perfect position to get the crumb, and he had some space just to run into an open goal. So good work from the Swans. Got to continue to play on at all times.
Goals are worth 5 goals to shut down players, aren't they?
Well, they are. And Lee Cole, that's an interesting matchup, isn't it? Nick Smith and Winderlink. You call it nice and early.
Yeah, well, Winderlink did a great job there to go back with courage, but Nick Smith stayed down and got the reward.
And Winderlink gets this one to Watson. They get the clearance. 1 minute 45 left on the clock. Half forward. Little handball. Monfries tried to set it up, but wrap-around tackle by Bevan makes sure the ball is going nowhere.
Well, he needed that goal, Nick Smith, because Winderlink is in the double figures now. So he's had 10 disposals. Nick Smith's had the 1 for a goal. So you'd still give that to Winderlink, that matchup now.
You would, on the back of 27 disposals last week from Winderlink. He's had some big scalps, Nick Smith, but he's got his hands full today.
The first time for the year.
Unless you kick the last goal of the game to win it.
Yeah,
then perhaps you might have an argument.
Jude okay Bolton,
then. McVeigh, Bird, Smith, and doesn't. Well, was that a percent? It wasn't a possession. It rolls along the line, and it'll roll out with 1:13 left. And hopefully the timekeepers are on their job today. They had a few problems. Sydney versus Hawthorn last week. Game cut short by 43 seconds.
Craig Bird will need a new jumper there at quarter time. Or someone to quickly sew it up.
And those 2 timekeepers have been suspended.
Sewing needle out.
Jude Bolton back toward the boundary. And Bird got there quickly enough to keep it alive initially.
Where do the timekeepers go if they've rested for a week?
To the country, no doubt.
To the country.
And they timekeep by the sun.
Sundial, and
so.
Use the cowbell.
And ring the bell, yes. Pike and Hill. Back of the pack. Pike, Smith, all had a piece of it. Back to Kirk, to half forward. Late chance for a score here, although Hocking wins the free.
Got the spread here.
So 40 seconds to get it coast to coast here. Monfries got under that a little. And Gary Rowan with a good spoil. Knocks it down. Ball in dispute. Middle of the ground. Down to 30. McVeigh dragged down. No prior opportunity. Ball up. A good opening term. Seesawing opening term. Both teams have had their share of the lead. 7 points the margin. Free kick's been found. So the Sydney Swans a chance for a late score.
There's a blood rule.
Okay, so the clock will stop.
Yeah, blood rule there.
He's always got blood.
I got it.
Leave it there.
Blood rule.
Jared McFay.
With 20 seconds to go, 19 seconds to go. That's not a bad move.
Well, it's been a good duel, Kirk and Watson. Kirk's had the 8. Joe Watson's had 7, so...
Swans forwards have huddled up in the forward 50, so a set play.
And it's driven along. Playfair's there. Big pack goes up. Montfrey's off hands. Tackle. Kennedy strips them. Ball came out. Seconds continue to roll. Down to 5. Courtney Dempsey. And now Watson can relieve the pressure. Quarter time at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Tight contest between 7th and 8th on the AFL ladder. The loser might find itself out of the 8 at the halfway point of the season. The winner today will certainly be in after 11 rounds. 3-3-21 to 2-2-14.
Sydney continue to take the game on.
7 points the margin. Second term underway. And Mumford continues where he left off, getting his palm on ball ups and almost his own clearance. Davey stole it. Dived into a high tackle. Umpire didn't give him a free. Jude Bolton nosed a little. No free for in the back, so it's all square. Shuffled out Welsh toward Watson. Prismal gets out of a tackle, gives it up though to the wrong McVeigh. Wobbles to half forward. Bouncing ball. Does pretty well there, Hurley. Manhandled, pursued. Bird picks it up, beats them all. Jetta inside 50. Goods, another drop. Hocking right with him, tackles him, drags him, holding the ball.
Yeah, incorrect disposal. Adam Goods, he's just not taking the ball cleanly at the moment. There was a mark there, would have just got his second term off to a flyer in front of goal, but spilled it and then gave away the free kick.
Gumbleton can't mark that out of play.
But already we've seen once again good tackling pressure from the Bombers, put pressure on the Swans ball carrier.
I think Alan Davis is too quick for the umpires here. I think you called it beautifully, Dwayne. He was a little bit high there, right, Keith?
This is the Goods drop mark. He'd done all the hard work to get to the front, just couldn't take it cleanly in the hands.
He tried to clasp at it, Alistair, instead of just forming, you know, a nice open-handed.
It's always when you've got the clam going, the hands coming from the side, it's hit or miss. Yeah, the palms behind the ball. Obviously, is ideally the technique you want to do.
It's almost lost the magic since he said that Indigenous players don't have just magic. They have hard work that gets them where they are. Hocking beaten again was Goods there.
And Joe Watson's working hard to the wing.
Winderlick. And Watson should get the reward for that hard work.
Turning to elite runner now, Joe Watson.
Back inboard. McVeigh gets it from Hocking, so another possession for Hocking on Goods. And Jetta inside 50 takes the mark.
Yeah, don't know whether it was meant for Jetta. Might have been Zaharakis on the lead from full forward, but Jetta was an option as well. And they're presenting to the ball and moving the ball quickly.
That's good forward set up, though, isn't it? Having 2 or 3 options, one leading across. You're right, Zaharakis was the target there. Great camera shot there. Well picked up, legit.
And he has been their go-to man most of the year, David Zaharakis, even though you would expect the taller targets to be kicked to more often. Leroy Jetta, he's already got one. Can't sneak that inside the post. Only a behind.
Exciting player. Just to see even there, Jetta, just the speed to push up, to man the mark.
Smith got one little high from Jetta there. Jude Bolton, kick smothered. Hopefully his leg's okay. Winderlick on the rebound. Short. Lovett Murray hits toward goal, and that's across the face from Nathan Lovett Murray.
Yeah, it was a tough angle. He's had the eight disposals here. Did you see the smother there? Yeah.
Another one on Leroy Jetta. He's been involved in 30%
speed factor, isn't it?
Scoring chains. So like he just gets involved. In the past 3 weeks, he's #1 at Essendon for the scoring chain involvement.
Jude Bolton.
He's been good, Bolton.
Inside 50 to Goods. 1-on-1 with Hocking again. White makes it a 2-on-2. Shuffled out, and Hocking another win. Kicks toward the wing. Gumbleton. Ball bounced unkindly initially. Short pass to Monfries, ugly. Roberts-Thompson dragged the man down with no ball. Oh, and Monfries, the free kick against him.
You grabbed his arm.
Very well picked up. I was wondering why they wouldn't get up off the ground, because I think Monfries knew if Roberts-Thompson gets up, he's going to get the ball.
Shaw with the left. Goods.
Oh, that's a better mark. That'll do his confidence the world of good there, Lee Colbert. You would have a good view of that.
Yeah, he made good ground, and Shaw's kick was actually pretty good as well. Just set it out in front of him, and he ran onto it.
Martin Mackner. And Goods is coming off, Colby, is that correct?
Yeah, he's came off both just for a rest, I think. Nothing major. He just come for a spell.
Big Mummy's pushed forward here.
He has and should get it if it's not out on the full. He's marked that on the line.
Boy,
That's very lucky.
he had the central umpire and the boundary umpire, so they were right on the line.
I'm glad they agreed.
Scotty McLaren there. That was good running from Mummy, though. Paddy Ryder was half asleep.
Well, that's what he needs to do, put pressure on the flip side to Ryder and Hill that themselves are trying to get the full forward.
You're right, beat them at their own game.
And he's got the work rate, just rearranging things at his new home.
I'll tell you what, if he sat on that seat, it's not a big one, is it?
Well, who's to say he can't kick this? He has been so good since crossing from the Cats.
Oh,
That's a big build-up.
it was a massive build-up, but no, he's been very good. He's been a great play. Just see the boundary line here. Both umpires in perfect position, so good decision. And I'd suggest if he sat on that little seat that was there, he would have spread eagled the legs, the big man.
Hurley sends it long and wide, but not really to Gumbleton's advantage. And he does well.
Good duel.
Almost a toe on it. Pick up superb by Atkinson.
Oh, great tackle there.
Just got the kick away. Davey inside 50. Strong mark.
Well, I thought Reece Shaw was going to get a fist on that. You can see he's hunched over there, Reece Shaw. Great mark from Davey, not known for his contested marking. Thought the run and tackle there from the Sydney player.
Might have been Jack, was it? Or Bevan.
Bevan it was terrific. Might have been enough to cause a turnover. Just see Reece Shaw probably not aggressive enough in the spoil there. He just assumed he was going to get a fist on the ball, but terrific mark from Davey.
Having a very accurate season too. 10 goals, 4. And that was never in doubt. The Bombers are back in front.
Still transition of the Essendon side, and good pick up from Lovett Murray to set it up towards Davey. Reece Shaw, an experienced defender, he'd be disappointed in that one. See, Gumbleton's overrun the ball. Some good pick up, but it was this one where Reece Shaw would have expected better of himself, just to make contact with at least the body, if not the ball. But that's a good mark. Good standing jump from Davey.
As in terrific form. Elwyn Davies, super last week, kicking 2 goals and having 10 tackles. One on Jared Harbrow, and Harbrow normally averages about 28 disposals, only had 15 disposals last week.
Howlett peels onto it, back to McVeigh. Prismal, Hurley running off half-back. Now McVeigh to set it up again. Lead comes from Zaharakis, just over his head. Lonergan hits it nicely, hits the kick pretty well too, toward the goal square, bounces it through. Biggest lead the Bombers have had, 7 points.
Great goal there from Lonergan. Speed kills, just the ability to get the ball in there. Essendon, they've got a very mobile forward line. You just see the run and carry from McVeigh, just getting the ball in. You see Zaharakis, he's the first lead there, but terrific gather there from Lonergan. No one out the back to handball too, so has a go himself, and a terrific bounce. But just the mobile forward line there with only the one tall Gumbleton up the ground, Hill anchored in the goal square, and the Crummers. Terrific goal.
The Bombers certainly aren't reliant on just one goal kicker. Over the last 5 weeks, they've averaged 11 goal kickers per game, and we've seen some of the skills of their ball carriers through the midfield, and even off half-back can kick goals, and that's a very potent team.
Winderlich tried to get it out. Kennedy does. Breaks free with it. Kick wide. Goods in pursuit of it with Hocking. Ball bounced unkindly for Goods. Taps it to his own advantage, and then Howlett and Hocking mop it up together.
He's going to pin you.
And he's gone. Play on advantage. Kennedy breaks free. Running back to the square, play fair. It'll be his ball. He's in a good spot for it and almost marks it. Just carried on him a little too far. Did that hit the post?
Well, what he did there, he tried to look for the body instead of reading the ball. He tried to look for the body on Hurley.
Spot on,
read
Spud.
the ball.
That's spot on. He tried to engage contact, body contact. Didn't feel him. In the end, he'd run under the ball. So, yeah, just a little bit of an error.
McVeigh mops it up regardless.
That's a terrific goal. Big money in the ruck. He's on fire. McVeigh was the best player for the Swans at the moment. He's had the 13 disposals, 1 goal, 1. He's had a terrific duel. You just see that ruck work there from Mummy, though. He is worth his weight. Or is it
Big
Pike?
Mike Pike.
It's Mike Pike, sorry. No, it's Mike Pike. Very good ruck work there from Pike. And that is a very good goal there from McVeigh. Great ruck work from Pike.
Lee Colbert.
Jude Bolton just came off the ground, talked to Nathan, gives the doctor, and he's actually just talking about his pectoralis on the right-hand side. So there he goes, just putting, like in a tackle he's been caught.
That's his chest, is it, Colby, the pectoralis?
It is, mate.
Okay, thank you for
Pectoralis major.
That was a terrific tap from Mike Pike, though. His ruck work's improving all the time down McVeigh.
Bird, slick hands, Jack, terrible kick.
Too unselfish there.
Towards White, knocks it out. Rowan drives his way through. Hurley hacks it away. Monfries will get there first. Half-back flank. A 1-point game. The Bombers lead. Heads toward the wing. Good battle that Zaharakis in a battle with Smith. And the boundary line beats them both.
He was too unselfish there, Bird. He tried to hit the target. He's 35 metres out. He's now gone on to Winderlink. So Winderlink's had a change of opponent. So it's a positives there for Essendon. Nick Smith started on him. Bird's gone to Winderlink now.
Smith on Zaharakis.
Pike to Kirk to McVeigh. Slick. Just got a kick away in time. Hurley pick up on the run. Sends the Bombers back to half forward. Wide ball. Lonergan almost the mark. Keeps it alive though. Melksham. Lonergan. Watson. Howlett. Tucked up against the line. Bumped on the kick. Hill.
Great
strong
contest.
hands.
Great contest, strong hands. And
Lewis Roberts-Thompson's down. He hasn't moved.
No, he's a little bit sore, LRT, but credit to the big ruckman for the Essendon Football Club.
Has not moved off the ground. I'm sure whether it's his knee or ankle. Roberts-Thompson. We'll have another look here.
So they're going to let him kick. The trainer's on the mark.
Well, they can't.
Yeah, you're right. The umpire needs to.
You can't kick while the trainer's on the mark, surely. He deserves that kick again.
Well, he needed to stop that and either say, well, is a stretcher coming on, or doctor, get out of the road.
Well called, Dwayne. I was surprised the umpire just standing there. Thought, well, hang on, we'll just have a look at what Roberts-Thompson does here. Oh, a bit of friendly fire with Paul Bevan.
That's a good mark.
Is it a hit pointer? Yeah, great mark from Hill, but Dwayne was right there with the umpire. Should have waited till someone else got on the mark.
Well, they've kicked it to LRT.
Pike.
Oh, he's struggling too.
Dragged onto the line. That didn't appear to travel across for mine, but I won't bag the umpires too much.
See
See the umpire.
So the man on the mark and the trainer are together. Normally they don't allow that.
What Hill should have done after he missed it, Dwayne, said, I need another kick with someone, the trainer's on the mark. If he had been on his game, would have been hard to argue against.
I've got the throw in.
Yeah,
2-point margin.
But you're right with Mike Pike and his development.
Yeah.
We saw he went head-to-head with Sandowans here a few weeks ago at the SCG, and we thought he was just going to get bashed off the park, and he wasn't too bad. He competed extremely well.
Here he is
Second
again,
effort.
Mike Pike. His handballing skills aren't quite up to scratch yet,
It's his tap work that's improved.
but he is a trailblazer, and they're all following him. Everybody's coming from rugby now that Mike Pike's decided to come.
Have a look at the handball. We might see a few of these from Carmichael Hunt over the next year or so.
He's changed hands.
He just
Three
there you
and
go.
4 times he's changed. He didn't know whether the handball is left, he's right, and he's left.
17 rugby union internationals for Canada, including the World Cup a few years ago, Mike Pike. Bolton got it out, Jetta stole it back, handballs in the Davey direction. Bird got there in time, just got a handball out. That was ball for all money. Umpire went for the whistle and then put it away. It'll be a Sydney free kick. Now Chesky's ball.
There's a lot of referred pressure too down there, isn't there, for the Sydney Swans runners. And that's their strength, Sydney. Their half-backs, they get frustrated if they're not allowed to play in the game on their terms.
That's a good kick to Bevan.
It's a very good kick in amongst two players from Essendon, Ryder and Gumbleton.
Grundy long, Hanbury, the hot man from last week. Atkinson brought him down. Hanbury just dropped that. Umpire allowed play to go on. Atkinson superb. Sends a long ball to half forward. Lovett Murray beaten for it by Lewis Roberts-Thompson.
Experienced key position player up against Lovett Murray.
Hyphen versus Hyphen.
Good use of the body.
McVeigh chips it over the top. Smith could have played on. McVeigh. And now Adam Goods. He licked his fingers and then went for it. Peels back onto it. He's got it. Almost a throw. Myers, boundary line if he wants it. He was in the right department there.
He's just out of sorts, Adam Goods, at the moment. You just see him looking down at the ground. His work rate's there. You see the second effort. But just when he flew for that initial marking contest, his judgment's not quite there at the moment.
His timing's out and his touch is out. We spoke about it last week.
Here's Jetta, still yet to kick an AFL goal. Don't tell me you'll kick it that way. He's now got 10 behinds to start his career.
Would have been a good one to start with, outside of the slipper, and just put it through. But we spoke about Adam Goods last week in the third or fourth term. Where do you move him to help him get into the game? Is it a little bit of a run on the ball, ruck over, follow the ball around?
I think if Daniel Bradshaw's there, that they'll be doing that now, Lynchy. But the facts are their midfield are going well, and you take Goods out of that forward line without Bradshaw, that's a terrific tackle.
Malcheski inside 50. Gary Rowan hit the pack hard. Jude Bolton handball. Back to Rowan. Another outside of the boot kick.
Good goal.
Gary Rowan goal. Sydney in front by 5.
Well, it's Sydney's turn. Yeah, he's a beauty. It's Sydney's turn to get a goal on the turnover. We're talking about Essendon's tackling pressure. It's the easiest way to score a goal now on a turnover. You just see great tackle there from Matt Nutt. And again, playing at all costs. That's Sydney. If they continually get the ball in there quickly, it just puts any defence under pressure, and the inside, the banana just squeezed through there.
The banana's gone two ways, I think.
It's a hard banana to kick from 40 though, isn't it? That's a very good shot on goal from Gary Rowan.
Just like being caught in the speed trap at the moment. Some of the quick tackling pressure from both teams. Essendon have been renowned for it over the last, this season really, leading the AFL in tackles. But good pressure then from the Sydney Swans. Big Mummy going again.
Howlett, who got it from Watson, who got it from Welsh. Hocking from half back. Lonergan flies. In fact, he protected Lovett Murray. Runs onto it, shorts it inside 50. Grundy. To his own advantage, or the boundary line. Lovett Murray keeps it in, slips it around the body. Lonergan, second grab. Welsh back into the team and back on target.
Quick reply from the Bombers in answer to the Swans' goal at the other end of the ground. Some nice work. The ball was just in general play and just found a way to get it back into the corridor again. Some clean hands, but the ability to get the ball into a dangerous position, if a mark's not taken as it was on that occasion, there was forward Crummers there to mop up and kick a very good goal, and that is a handy one from Welsh. 9 disposals to this stage of the game.
Be happy with a roving goal as well. Andrew Welsh used to carry a Bobby Skilton badge around as a good luck charm as a kid. One of the greatest Sydney Swans of all time, if not the greatest. Ball up. Mumford, little knockdown, gets his own clearance.
Good second effort.
Kennedy to half forward. It's a brilliant seesawing contest at the moment. Jude Bolton knocks it away. Pears gathers, gave to Myers. Boundary line was there. Jetta from the line, kicks back to full forward. Playfair got there, knocked away and kept alive by Hurley. Not sure it was the best option. Welsh on defensive 50, slips it up the hill, over the top. They just take the game on and it worked. Prismal A wobbler. Tough one for Davey. Clean bowls a couple, but not Malcheski. From half-back, here they go on the rebound. Mumford finds himself free again. Short pass, it's okay. Kennedy.
Probably wasn't the best option, but in the end was good.
Playfair goes, and White gathers the crumb. Kicks it back towards full forward. Bouncing ball, attacked by Hocking. Goods caught behind again, and Hocking drives it away.
Well done from Hocking. Backed himself, took front position.
Pairs to Welsh. A little 1-2. Monfries. He had Ryder, but he was a little too wide. Still gives it there, and Mumford gets there first.
Oh, well done, Mummy.
Knocked it down to Grundy. Back inboard to Kennedy. Malcheski, and Bevan can go all the way if he wants to. From 55, that's a long bomb. Brilliant. Swans back in front.
It's a terrific game of football. Counter-attack, it's absolute best. Whichever side makes a mistake, the other side capitalise. And Mumford comes off the ground. It won't be a mark, kick or handball. Just the ability to get his hand on that. He was absolutely spent. I think he was coming to the ground eventually, but the run and carry through the middle of the ground for the Swans, and that's why you've got to play against the Bombers. Very hard to defend against those long kicks down the middle. That is a magnificent goal in the game so far. There's just that tap from Mummy.
Some good work from the Sydney Swans. Paul Bevan on that occasion was the recipient of some good work. Big Mummy contesting very well. Looked like a fallen oak tree as he made that contest, but it was a very useful one, the big man.
Any divots down there, Colby?
There's a big hole.
Big Grand Canyon.
Hanbury tries to shuffle it out. Sydney by 5 points. Howler.
They're away, the Bombers.
A wobbler to half forward. Prismal. Melksham. He can kick a long ball too. Heads toward the square. Gumbleton gets back. Brilliant.
Grundy's all at sea there. Just lost his direct opponent in Gumbleton. But it started in the middle of the ground. The break of space for the Bombers. All the Sydney Swans midfielders were in close. The Bombers spread and really did cut the half-backs apart, but Grundy won't be too happy with the positioning on Gumbleton in that instance.
Now, the kick was a good one. It was over to the fat side, to the space.
9 lead changes we've had, and Essendon lead by behind.
It was good clearance, as you touched on, and the spread certainly, Spud was exceptional. Once the Essendon players realised they had the clearance, they ran and spread very well, and they needed to get that clearance. They're down 9-3 for this quarter in the clearances, so they had to bounce back. And here's the kick. It's gone long over the back. As you touched on, Grundy was out of position. The kick was into space, which was the long kick over the back, and Gumbleton had the bigger reach and the run up to take one over Malcheski.
The big Gumby, as Jason Winterlick called him during the week. Not the best nickname you'd want, but...
No. If he's catching them like that,
when
he'll be
run and jump,
happy.
It's hard to defend against.
I'll tell you what, Gumby caught on for a while as well, and I think this Gumby's going to catch on too. Jesse White to O'Keefe. Another wobbler. Goods.
Ran under the ball again, Adam Goods.
Hocking thumps it clear. Jetta almost counts there. Push into the back of McVeigh. Myers caught. Good handball over the top of hands. Courtney Dempsey slips the ball toward the wing. Jetta slides into it with Smith. Plays for the free. There's that cleverness, the speed. Didn't come off for him this time. It's a free kick against Jetta.
Yeah.
We'll go to Smith.
Yeah, high contact. Little bit of frustration against Nick Smith.
Oh, and he takes him on. Runs around him.
Goods in the square now on Heath Hocking.
And White takes it out. And you would think Goods would win that battle.
Well, it's 7 centimetres difference. Have a look at the height difference there. And you just see the marking attempt about a minute ago. He's just not reading it well. He's just got to watch the ball off the boot. He's just waiting for some contact. He just needs to run and jump and take the ball at its highest point. At the moment, he's second-guessing himself. And that's what happens when you lose a little bit of confidence, Alistair, but just the work rate. But I like the match up deep. You'd think that's a real win at the moment for Sydney, but the way Goods is judging the ball, when it hits the ground, Hocking's running it out.
Yeah, he wants a quick, long ball in a one-on-one situation where he can even probably take a chest mark where you don't have to read the ball as well. You can use your strength and take the chest mark rather than relying on the hands that just are a little bit off at the moment.
Davey to McVeigh, fends off a couple, back to Davey, there's that speed. Atkinson back inside, Welsh, wide ball, race on. Playfair should get there first. It's all about the bounce. He bounces kindly for him, and he outruns Winderlich. Not 15. Rowan. And now McVeigh.
Needs to take
it's not
this
a good
mark.
option because it was a 2-on-1. A bad option there from Gary Rowan.
Lovett Murray over to Howland. Bombers away again. Shortish kick, not so good either. Smith attacks it.
They could hurt him on the rebound here. They got numbers lined up through the middle and into the forward 50.
Shaw hands it up. Jack
Here's Goods.
Pokes the kick. Goods gets the fly. Can't bring it down. Mike Crummett. Watson got there first and shrugged him. Inboard. Atkinson shoots it wide. Hurley back again. Prismal, and a good attack that from Jetta. Took it out.
It was a better attack from Adam Goods. Now, that's all he needs to keep doing. Keep presenting, and the work rate will come. We just see here, it was a terrific kick. Great double team there. That was a better leap. Just keeps those efforts, it'll come.
Yeah, good work from Hurley to make it difficult.
Yeah.
Push back 2-on-1 in
Good
the contest.
courage.
Melksham. In the shadows of half-time.
That's a
Inboard
super
Lovett
kick.
Murray.
Great kick. Great run
Oh,
from
look at this
Lovett
out
Murray.
wide here.
Took the step, floats it over the top. Howlett, good grab.
That is a perfect transference of play. The ball was on the wing, and then it took that risky kick, but a dangerous kick in there. And that's the difference in the moment, just the ball use, but great transference of play there from the Bombers.
Lovett Murray's work rate to get from the half-back flank into that position where he was usable 55 metres out from goal was exceptional. Certainly honoured by an outstanding kick, but even his kick in the end to find this target was useful.
Not sure when Ben Howlett knew he was playing today with Brent Stanton unable to take his place, but he drives that through, and again the Bombers out to a 7-point lead.
Pretty goal there from Ben Howlett. It's a late replacement for Brent Stanton there. But just see the transference of play here from the Bombers. That was the kick. That was the one that set it up. You can see Howlett on the left of screen there finding some space. McVeigh just spectating at the wrong time there and allowed his direct opponent to get goal side. But again, that's great ball use there to Lovett Murray. Great vision out wide and good ball use. Great team goal.
There's been 4 7-point leads in this game. Sydney have been out to a 7-point lead a couple of times, and now the Bombers out to their second 7-point lead of the game. Kirk drives his way through traffic. Jack hacks it forward. Rowan back of the pack. Jude Bolton with the run-down attempted tackle. Prismal wide. Welsh. Bombers are away again.
Well, Goods and Playfair need to hold the mark at the moment. The Sydney midfielder on top, they're smashing Essendon in the clearances, but their two tall forwards aren't grabbing it.
Roberts Thompson, handball cut off by Watson. Rolls it inside 50. Gumbleton might give it back to Watson. Gives to Monfries, who was the middleman. And Watson back to Prismal.
Look to switch it probably through the corridor.
Dempsey.
Yep. And
He'll
probably
take
one
off.
more across.
So Dempsey wide. And this is Goods' man again, Hocking. Goods holds him up.
All but 3 Sydney players outside the forward 50 for the Bombers.
He kicks a prayer. Ryder can't mark it. Kennedy back into
tackle.
traffic to get that handball away. Does roll it to Matner. Playfair. Jude Bolton.
Jesse White will have to run here.
He's got 2 to beat here, Jesse White. Bouncing ball. They both come at him. Dances around one. Kicks over the other towards Goods. Half volley. Should give it back to White. He doesn't. He gives it toward Dempsey, who should have done better than that.
Good use of the body from White, though.
White,
2-on-1.
Jude Bolton,
Gotta run it
McVeigh should kick this goal or hand it over the top. He does. Rowan from the top of the square, and it's back to a 1-point Bomber lead.
Take a bow, Jesse White.
Yep.
2 of the best uses of the body you'll see. And I think that's one thing we're not quite sure about Jesse White, the way he can learn his craft. We know he can take a high grab, but just those deft touches there. Wasn't a great kick from Adam Goods. Get the handball here over to Jesse White, which didn't quite get there. But just see here, just a beautiful use of the body, protected the ball, dropping the the zone, and great team goal there, McVeigh. He just thought it through beautifully. See Gary Rowan at the top of screen, drew the Essendon player beautifully.
Okay, one in the middle.
2 goals for the quarter for Gary Rowan. Picked 6 last summer. And we're only 11 rounds into the season, and already the top 6 from last year. Scully, Tringo, Martin, Morabito, Cunnington and Rowan, all established AFL players and doing extremely well for their new AFL team.
There's some talent in that group, Dwayne. And you would think, wouldn't be surprised if all of those players become 200 game players with their clubs.
It could be another super draft. From the ball up, Kirk. 90 seconds from half time. Davey plays for the free. Kirk with a little don't argue, then was crunched.
Knock it out. Hit it clear.
Umpire pleading for them to knock it out.
Line in there.
Umpire Scott McLaren says, I'll have it.
How's the weather looking out there, Lee Colbert? It looks like it's got dark the last 10 minutes out there.
Yes, Bud, it is getting a little darker.
Oh,
Get
nice.
that jacket out, Colby.
He left it at home.
Malcheski to Kirk. Good chance at a late score here. Jude Bolton
Good
to
handball.
McVeigh from 50. It's a wide ball, bending back a little, but not enough. And level scores at half-time would be about right.
It would be. It's been a very entertaining game. McVeigh's been good, just pulled that one. He's kicked 1 goal, 2 for the day, 18 disposals, along with Bolton and O'Keefe. They've been their experienced players are certainly on today.
Well, he's had 8 clearances too, McVeigh, and Andrew Welsh, his direct opponent.
Big crunch, Bevan in the hole there. Big commitment, and with 44 seconds left, we'll get a ball in.
And David Hill, he was just grabbing at that left hamstring, so I don't know whether it was from the contact.
Well, that'll be a big loss because Big Mumford, he's been super, and Mike Pike at the clearances. They've dominated the
There it
clearances.
is.
Sydney.
There it is. Done left hamstring. David Hill
Well
couldn't
picked
hold
up
his,
there, Lynchy.
couldn't hold his ground.
Mumford 2 possessions in that string. Jack towards
He's good.
Goods. Should get there. Waited for the bounce. Hocking had him again. Hanbury. Hocking's got him now. Hanbury gives it up to Bird. Sprints clear. Pokes it towards full forward. Rowan. Punch from Atkinson. Ball hits the back. Down to 20 seconds and taken across the line.
You know, when you're having a quiet day, have a look at David Hill. Just goes in for this contest. I reckon it was just as he's about to jump.
Yeah.
He's hurt that left hamstring, and in the ruck contest, Mummy just pushed him off the ball.
Mummy's on his own at the moment.
Did his own knockdown. Melksham stole it. Punch back. Down to 8 seconds. Welsh just don't need a free here, the Bombers. They should get away with it. Davey handballs it wide, but half-time at the SCG. It's been a seesawing contest. Both teams have opened up 7-point leads, but that's as big as the lead has got. It's a tight one. 7-5, 47 apiece between 7th and 8th on the AFL ladder.
Start deep in the goal square. Either centre half back or deep and just leave him there. I wouldn't get him the lead. I'd just let him sit under the ball.
Ryder up in the ruck against Mumford, who was dominant in the opening half. Melksham came hard, knocked it down. Winderlick to Watson. Up and under kick. Gumbleton, Lewis Roberts-Thompson, they tie up. O'Keefe feeds back onto it. Kick towards Kirk okay, if it bounces, and it does bounce kindly. Got a couple of options. He's got a long one in White or Goods. White, Goods, Jetta. They both had a piece of it. Jetta runs back onto it. Atkinson. Jetta toes it and toes himself another behind. That's 11 behinds in a row to start his career.
Still looking for that first goal. He's not getting in an easy shot at goal, that's for sure.
McVeigh wide. O'Keefe knocks it down and Goods a little fumble. Lee Colbert.
Just an update on that player. It was David Myers who was late to come out of the room. So David Myers, he's okay, but he'll still inside.
Thanks, Lee. Mumford and Ryder again. Pack of players around this ball in. Mumford slaps it inside 50. Prismal, little slip. Ryder, Welsh, Prismal. McVeigh kept that alive. Lonergan likewise. Ryder through Jetta. Back in, driven out of it by McVeigh. And the umpire will probably sort this out with the ball up. No, he goes for holding the ball. Holding it in on the ground on his back, Malcheski there.
He's just holding it in, was the comment.
You've got to make an attempt. The umpires have been read on that. I think the players need to be aware. If you're lying on the ground, the ball's in your vicinity, you have to try and clear it out of the area. If there's no attempt, they'll pay a free kick.
Even if you're on your back and you haven't gone to ground with it.
Well, that's with the evidence we've seen over the last month as we have a look at the replay, and whether there's prior opportunity or not, they want to see. Now, it's very difficult, but they want to see you make an effort to try to get it out. Now,
surely both players are just as culpable there.
Well, I would think the Essendon player's got more purchase on the ball than Malcheski has.
So the lower player has the free kick against him.
No, the first player to drag it in won, which was Malcheski in that instance.
Rightio. Little wobbler by McVeigh to half forward. Winderlick. In fact, it was Zaharakis who gave towards Watson. He missed him. Hurley a little high there from Rowan. And is that 50?
Oh, that's silly from Playfair. He knew there was a whistle there. He knew there was a free kick to Hurley because Hurley's got his head over the ball and Gary Rowan's made contact with the head. There's always a free kick.
Well, it must have been. It was obvious that it wasn't a Swans free kick at least.
Exactly
anyway.
right.
See within range here, Michael Hurley. It's a difficult breeze, swirling a little. He gives it off to McVeigh anyway. From 60, pumps it toward the square. Roberts Thompson goes up and Mumford again. It's been superb.
He's
pushing for recruit of the year.
No doubt.
McVeigh, the Jared variety.
25 hit-outs now, Mumford.
They've been able to do well with recycling players at the Sydney Swans over the years. I mean, Darren Jolly was another one, became one of the premier ruckmen in the competition after moving up.
Well, Geelong didn't want to lose Mumford. It's just the fact that salary cap pressures and Sydney
look at that.
On cue to Rowan. Gets the kick away. Jetta clean bowled by it. Kirk about to pounce. Atkinson sweated off on him a little. Good pursuit from Jetta and Welsh.
Extra numbers here from the Bombers.
Pair stolen by Jude Bolton. Throws on the boot. Goods. And finally Adam Goods gets a roar of approval from the crowd.
And a roar of approval from me too, because Alistair Lynch, she said it just after half time, just plonk him there and use his, if you're not judging it and you run and carry, you've called it beautifully here. Just use his body, because one thing he has got is body strength as well on Heath Hocking. So that'll do his confidence no end. And of course, if he can seal the deal here and kick a goal, this will be fantastic.
To get his confidence back. With the rain coming, and he wobbles it and floats it across the face.
He almost needs one in the goal square just to get the confidence up. There's David Hill in the tracksuit and about to apply the ice to that left hamstring. So you would think a big man with the what looked like to be a reasonably good hamstring strain, that could be 3 or 4 weeks at least on the sidelines.
Yeah, at least until after the bye weekend, you would think.
Yeah, they won't rush him back for that one, that's for sure. So, yeah, good spell.
These teams level on the ladder, essentially. 5 wins, 5 losses coming into this contest. 7th and 8th on the AFL ladder. Sydney Swans with Port Adelaide next week, and the Bombers with the Cats. Malcheski, Jetta beats him to it.
It was a beautiful kick. Malcheski went under the ball. The ball dropped, didn't read it that well. Terrific mark from Jetta. Malcheski won't like what he sees in the review come Monday or Tuesday, because he ran under the flight of the ball here. You can just see he misjudged it and went one-handed as well. So he won't like the look of that, Malcheski. That's not good enough. Good mark from Jetta, though. But didn't like to be under that high ball there, Malcheski.
No, he didn't. That is not a good one. Players aren't proud of those sort of efforts. Just had to stay under it. Back.
To give the Bombers back the lead. Early stages, 3rd term. He's already got 1 to this end. And the Bombers lead by 4.
Well, that's a terrific goal from the Bombers, and deflating for Malcheski. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes off the ground, Malcheski, after that effort, because it's just not good enough. Have a look here and have another look. He has gone under the ball drop and he's gone one-handed. So it's AFL footy. It's a tough game. And you just see another look here. Nah, I don't like it. And I'm sure Paul Roos won't like it when he has a good look at that.
He's come from the ground as well. Spot on, Spud.
He has come off, has he?
Yeah, taken straight from the ground.
We might head down to you, Lee Colbert. Malcheski off the ground after that marking effort.
Yeah, straight to Paul Roos as he walks past me now, but yeah, not happy at all, Mr. Roos.
I wouldn't have thought so. You know yourself firsthand, Spud. Been in the coach's box and those sort of situations.
Yeah, it's tough, but you've just got to call as you see it. Lynchy, as simple as that.
Mumford to Kennedy to Rowan, who got one high, and almost in the blink of an eye, the Sydney Swans can take the lead back again.
I need to capitalise on their clearance work. Mumford again, out of the centre, another clearance. You just see here, yeah, Courtney Dempsey too high with her hands. It's frustrating because you need to keep your hands low, tackle with your torso, and then wrap around with your arms low.
It's just reckless, that. Just have to be lower.
He's kicked 2 goals, Gary Rowan.
He has kicked 2 in the second term. Another huge kick. That'll come back with the breeze. There's been 13 lead changes in this game. Swans by 2 points.
Once again, the clearance situation dominated by the Sydney Swans, the likes of Mumford, Pike, and in at ground level on that occasion. It was the ground level work of Mumford rather than the just straight hit out. His second effort to get possession. The ball was rushed forward, and quick forward 50 entries is all any forward 50 player asked for. And on that occasion, it was Gary Rowan was in the right spot, got a high contact. Just need to go low when you're tackling the waist or at least the arms, but touch the shoulders, a free kick and rewarded.
We've made a change there. You've got David Myers going on to Gary Rowan there, the danger man. Started in the back line, he's kicked 3. So terrific result there for the youngster.
And Pike into the ruck, Mumford having a spell.
And Pike, count that as a clearance to O'Keefe. Inside 50, Playfair down there with White. Playfair lays a tackle. Adam Goods gets onto it. Handball wide, O'Keefe shrugs a tackle, looks inboard, gets the kick away to full forward. Playfair down there, can't mark. Off the fist.
We just see a bit of a wedgie here from McVeigh. He just...
We're showing replays of wedgies now, are we?
Usually say those for a pretty flat game. This is an exciting one.
Well, it is. Again, that marking contest early, you had Playfair and Jesse White going for the one ball. Now, you're both tall, separate, because you've got 2 young defenders on you, and it allows Hurley and Tate Pearce to come in and have an easy spoil in the end.
Or at least if you're in that situation, one player needs to put the block on, discreet block.
Lonergan's handball was ugly. Prismal under pressure. Winderlick likewise. 3 fumbles in that string. Jetta, the last of them. Almost a free kick to McVeigh. Winderlick mops up the mess. Jetta, hands good again. Atkinson, White and Love and Murray can go.
They spread reality, the Bombers, from the scrimmages.
Jetta. Wide ball, Howlett. Zaharakis.
Yeah, good use. Now, he's going to have to probably stay tight to the boundary line where the space is.
Called to play on. Davey in the hole.
That is a good lead.
Well, it's a terrific lead, and you've got Grundy and Josh Kennedy aware of their direct opponents. You can see Reece Shaw looking around and saying, boys, someone should have given me a chop out here.
Called to play on. Love it. Murray sends it long towards goal and misses.
That's a let off.
Side.
Let off for the Sydney Swans. Just love it. Murray just lurking there. Have a look at the pass into the dangerous space. Finds Davey.
We just see Josh Kennedy there, about 45 metres. That just had his back towards play there. If he had been watching the pass, he would have intercepted that. You can see why Reece Shaw was so frustrated.
Matner to himself, then wide. Watson almost the mark. Prismal the gather. Shrug. Handball up. Winderlick toward Watson. Boundary line.
Back onto that point, Spud. It's something you should never do is take your eyes off the ball. Always have an understanding where the ball is, whether you're in a game or even in a training session. You must understand where the ball is so that you can react to where the ball is going to go, not be reactive.
Pike and Gumbleton down to Kirk. Threads his way through traffic again. Bird. Handball was poor for Bevan. Jude Bolton mops up that little mess. Grundy wide, Jack.
Got to go long to Jesse White.
And he's in a good spot here, Jesse. Gets back in. Can't take possession of it. Hocking superb again. Boundary line if he wants it. He wants to take the game on. And he's caught
well done,
dead,
Jesse White.
holding the ball. Adam Goods plays on. Maybe should have let Jesse have the shot. And he hits the post. Gee, you'd let your teammate have the set shot from 45, wouldn't you?
He was just outside the arc, I think, by the time he would have had the kick. So understand the idea of playing on, but he cold as ice as far as the shots that go over the last few weeks from big Adam Goods.
It was a terrific second effort from Jesse White, though, wasn't it? To stay in the game. That's a real improvement on his game, what I've seen here today.
Right, a wide, Melksham.
A good play on.
Plays on quickly, back into the team this week after that rolled ankle last week. Jake Melksham, Gumbleton tried to thread one through the legs of Shaw to Bevan. All tied up. Grundy knows he can't just lie on it.
There.
Bird throws it on the boot, pumps it long. Boundary line looming. Rowan gets there, but not in time to keep it alive, and we'll get another ball in. Sydney by 3 points.
See the second effort here of Jesse White. It's a great tackle. You see him get him off the ground. Heath Hocking thought he was away, but that's a super effort to get up off the ground like that and nail that tackle.
Malcheski back on after the indiscretion and wins a hard ball. McVeigh, Jesse White, Goods. They're both down there in one-on-ones. And Hocking, whose father Graham played a game for the South Melbourne Swans back in 1971, playing against his dad's old team and doing an extremely good job on Adam Goods at the moment.
Just wasn't a great kick from McVeigh there. Should have went to the top of the square instead of the pocket. Too easy to defend that kick.
Winderlick and Dempsey a fumble. Atkinson. And going nowhere, Malcheski, ball up.
Massive players around this stoppage.
Mumford's had his rest though. He's back into the ruck.
Well, it's going to be, well, Paddy Ryder's been triple teamed already because it started with Mummy. Mike Pike come on for 2 minutes.
Mumford down to McVeigh. Couldn't make something of it. And that was not out on the full.
Must have hit right on the chalk. The Essendon player thinks it's a kick in.
I would have thought it was out in the full, actually, to be honest. I thought it was over the line.
I think he might have called it.
What's McVeigh's 10th clearance?
So it's a throw in. Okay. They've both called it out of bounds, so we're going to throw it in.
It's just not too happy.
Let's have another look. The boundary line. Oh, no, was there a punt?
A bit of chalk, yes.
Bit of chalk.
All the line's in.
All of the ball needs to be across the line for it to be out of play. So
good decision.
Jack got a shin on that, which counts as a kick.
Well, McVeigh's having some sort of game, though, isn't he? He's having another look. Yeah, it's just hit a bit of chalk there.
Yeah,
magnificent.
All right, never in doubt.
Parallax error makes it look correct anyway, so we'll go with it.
But getting back to Paddy Ryder, he's going to be one tired boy halfway during the last quarter.
Zaharakis sprints clear at half-back. Not a lot to go to. Floats it up in the worst direction. Bevan.
Oh, front
umpire
on.
said front on contact against Welsh.
Yeah, we took his eyes off the ball. That was the key there. Bevan was in the right position. Just wasn't a great kick. It didn't go to Welsh's advantage.
So, Spoda, who helps Ryder out? Does Gumbleton go for a run in the ruck?
Turnover. Jetta's got Davey. Good luck catching Davey. Could have run a little further. Doesn't matter.
That's a shocking turnover.
And the Bombers are back in front again.
How often have we seen today turnovers cost you goals? More and more with the ability of teams to press and put pressure on the ball carrier. You see Nick Malcheski not too happy there on that occasion. He just goes to play on, a little short stab into the centre corridor. The kick was poor and just opens up your forward 50. Essendon players running towards goal, and there was no hope. Bad error from the defensive half, and in particular Nick Malcheski on that occasion.
Well, there's another great 5 minutes. Malcheski, he's off the ground for the marking effort, comes on and kicks off one step. So he needs to forget about those two instances, move on. You're still only 3 points down in this game.
Mumford down to Jude Bolton, fell into it. McVeigh stolen by Dempsey, slips a handball out, kicked by Howlett from mid-air and hacks it to half forward, and they can reset for a ball in.
So Spud back to the rider. Who gives him a spell? Is it Gumbleton goes in for a few minutes?
It's Gumbleton or Hurley. Yeah, I think Gumbleton's the one. I don't think you can take Hurley out of the back half with the 3 talls of White, Goods and Playfair.
Ryder tried the ride on Mumford. Myers gave it off. Big block on Watson. O'Keefe had a little piece of it. Crisman likewise back towards O'Keefe. Not clear. Davey thought about sinking the slipper in. Jude Bolton to Mumford, and they're away in the clear. Hanbury to Kennedy. Went back, picked it up. Got a couple of options. Goods, White, Hocking. Again knocks it down, but Rowan was waiting for it. To Goods. Over the top to White. He can kick his third.
He's kicked 3 unconventional goals with Gary Rowan. That was an unbelievable pickup, and Mumford playing as a ruck rover through the middle of the ground.
It was his tackle that started all this.
Was.
Big, heavy tackle. There he is there. Gets it up and gets involved again. Once again, he's not just a one-dimensional player. And the ball was out into some space and just too easy to ground on that occasion. Good pickup by Gary Rowan, but in the right spot was Jesse White.
I've been really impressed with Jesse White's ball use today. He set up that goal as well. The initial heave, Hocking looked like he was going to pick it up, used his body, and got the right reward in the end. But Mummy in the middle, he's playing like a ruck rover now. His second and third efforts have been unbelievable here today.
It's his tackling pressure is exquisite. His clearance work is fantastic. He continues to get involved. He'll get involved here again.
And he got his own clearance.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Malcheski to half forward. Good mark to Bird. Too far out to score and knows it. The leads come. Adam Goods one way. He goes the other way to O'Keefe, who's had a lean trot since being concussed earlier this year.
Well, he has, but he worked into some space well. They had 2 options. O'Keefe was leading well with his player trailing behind him, but Mumford found some space. He was 40 metres out, could have been hit up, but in the end, it's probably gone to the best option in Ryan O'Keefe. Good shot at goal, but Mumford again, clearance, tap out, and an option.
Hasn't kicked a goal for over a month. Nice off the boot. Doesn't drift enough with that breeze. Another behind.
Conditions have changed, boys. The rain's starting to kick in now.
Oh, there, the handball. Did he get a little bit of a
snick
on it?
I think Snicko would have picked it up, and that's about it. Didn't lay a big fist on it, that's for sure.
But the midfield for Sydney, they'll be starting to get frustrated. Reward for effort, 38 clearances to 17. Sydney's favour.
Prismal heads long. Kirk feeding back onto it. He might shepherd here, or at least ask for a shepherd. Scoops it up. They did well there, Kirk and Smith. And Kirk breaks free into some space.
But no one to go to, though.
Little bounce.
Created a wall here.
Gives it to the ruck rover, and Mumford. He got a handball away just in time, but it's a turnover. Davey takes on Malcheski. Too quick for his own feet there, Davey.
Yeah,
got a kick inside 50. Welsh pushing the back.
Out of bounds it
Out
is.
of bounds, is it?
Very called back.
I heard the whistle.
Great play from McVeigh, because he was away.
Oh, Davey, what about the get up here and goes again?
Okay.
Just the ball just over the line there. And have a look at that one. Just a little chip, and that is probably... Oh, it's very close. The umpire in great position.
Back into play, McVeigh.
Don't sound convinced, but...
No, look, they've been 100% correct all day. That one is line ball for mine.
Now the rain just starting to come down here at the
Lewis
SCG
Robert Thompson
now.
in the middle here on his own.
And he needs to mark this. He's got the player on the outside if he wants to go. It's Malcheski. He plays on and kicks long. Gary Rowan the target. Good read, Hurley.
That was a bad option from LRT. He had to actually give it out to Malcheski, who was running laterally in space. He just had to give it.
Well, he would have ran into an open goal.
Malcheski gets it in the end.
And he made 2 mistakes in the end, because then he kicked it long to Hurley's advantage.
Pumps it along to the square. Playfair needs to get back. Dempsey.
Yeah, just a couple of instances just there, or recently, the Sydney Swans just making poor decisions going into their forward 50. And indeed, actually out of their defensive half as well.
And I think you're right, Lynch. I think Adam Goods, I think Rudy needs to say, mate, you play 0 to 20. The kick's getting in there, and too often we've got the Essendon player marking the ball there, so give us a contest.
Mumford outstanding again there. Kennedy threw it away. So a free kick against him. Zaharakis floats it. McVeigh got a hand to it. Bird tried to scoop it up. Howlett to a one-on-one. Welsh inside 50. Big fist Bevan knocks it down. Atkinson tries to shrug Grundy. Got a kick away. Welsh goal square. Bouncing ball. Bevan, he flicked it back. McVeigh.
Great play.
Well worked, Bombers. And they're in front by 2 points.
Extremely well done from McVeigh. Welsh, in the end, it was a team goal. Some thought through it very, very well, did the Bombers. Great transition from one end of the ground to the other. Tackling pressure again. And there's the long kick in towards McVeigh. Holds his ground, or not, sorry, Welsh on that occasion. Lovett Murray just did enough to hold possession and get it forward. And this is a smart tap. Understood where his teammates were, put it in front of the goals, and McVeigh scores.
Well, that's reward for effort. He initiated the tackle on the half-forward flank and kept in the game and worked forward. That is a terrific goal. The tackling pressure is keeping Essendon in the game. 18 tackles to 9, Essendon's favour. So it's the clearances of Sydney versus the tackling of Essendon at the moment.
They've had 16 lead changes in this game. Ball tied up in the middle. And another ball up coming. 22 minutes gone on the clock, third term.
Colby, is the rotations hurting Essendon with one less on the bench, mate?
Definitely hurting, no doubt. And this bloke in the middle, Ryder's going to have his work cut out, as you've already mentioned.
Stripped by Watson. Still a pack of about 15 around this ball.
Well, what Mike Pike needs to do for 3 or 4 minutes while Mummy's off the ground is push forward and run. Every time Sydney get the ball, force Paddy Ryder to get on his bike and take some juice out of his legs.
Oh, wrestle him. Just drain him.
Yep.
McVeigh tried that with the outside of the foot. It rolled back to him and he got the clearance.
The old tag team.
Yep.
Hurley at half back. Not a lot to go to. A long kick as good as anything. Fist down from Smith. Knocked it down to the O'Keefe direction, but a little in the back there on Prismal. Allowed to get away with it. Topo Kennedy, sure. Throws it on the boot towards Jetta. Looks around. He realises it's his.
No
Could have gone a little harder.
Well, there's no talk. There's indecision there. And the two youngsters will learn from that, Jetta and Rowan. You can see Jetta look, but Gary Rowan here, I'm not sure whether he's talking there, but on the front on angle, it didn't look like there was a lot of voice. What he needs to do is just call him in, give him the confidence to go for the ball.
Wobbly throw in. Missed everybody. Malcheski runs into a tackle. Dumped into the deck. Ball up.
Yeah, I think that's all that was missing from that contest, Spud, was voice. Gary Rowan was putting the block on. Jetta had decided to go, but as you know, you go a lot with a lot more confidence if there's voice as well.
And the silence is deafening too on the other hand too, isn't it?
You can hear the footsteps coming.
Play fair to Jetta. Kicks inboard. Just misses Jude Bolton. Off hands though. They've got the numbers. Grundy. Hanbury. Slick hands. Matner. Long kick of the ball. Gives it some air. High. Adam Goods waits under it. Hocking. Goods.
Well done.
Oh, he took a half step to play on there, Adam Goods.
Terrific grab. That's his hardest attempt all day, and he's taken the hardest one. Whereas the rain starts coming down, Lee Colbert.
It is, Colby. You won't get him. He'll be up under the grandstand. But spot on. We know on the lead, it's hard to take the mark in the hand, especially when you're out of touch. But the chest mark under the long, high ball is a lot easier. And he's certainly got the body strength to outmark his direct opponent.
He's kicked 3 behind so far in Goods.
After a horror game in front of goal last week, he threads it. And he threatens.
A terrific game of football. He's taken the hardest marking attempt all day and probably one of the hardest shots at goal, and starting to get a little bit of reward for effort. You see here just working the ball through the middle of the ground. I think Matner was actually going for goal, come up the side of his boot. Lynchy, you've called it at the start of this quarter, keep Adam Goods 0 to 20 for that long contested mark, and he's taken 2 in that area. So especially with these conditions, if it gets wetter, that's where you keep him.
Sydney Swans in the rain here at the moment. I think they'll come home with the rain in the last quarter. It's raining toward their end. One
of those young ladies, one of those to Lee Colbert.
And ask him to come back down onto ground level.
Jude Bolton got a handball out. 4 minutes from three-quarter time. Lonergan caught high. Plays on. Sidesteps trouble. Mumford chased him down, but he got the kick away. Roberts Thompson. Tough one to mark. Gives it up. Malcheski bounces away. He's made a couple of mistakes. Slippery ball, took the bounce regardless. Kicks to half forward. Jetta with the speed, about to pounce, runs onto it at full tilt, runs inside 50.
Still hasn't got one.
Would have that been the goal of the day?
That's 12 behinds to start his career.
Well, that would have been his first and would have been an absolute cracker. But he just refuses to get an easy shot at goal. That was fantastic play. Needed to be kicked straight to be a great goal, as it deserved.
Well,
he's kicked 2 goals in total, Dwayne.
True.
Oh, yeah, he'll get there.
Watson.
12 points.
Slides into it.
Gumbleton into the ruck, is it? And Mumford chasing him.
Atkinson. Knights' original mature age recruit. Jared Atkinson was with Matthew Knights in Bendigo. Offhands. Chance for the turnover here. Late in this third term. Jude Bolton gets it up. Crunching tackle. That's hurt Bird.
Good grab.
Play on.
Gary Rowan called to play on.
Goods is all by himself in the 50.
Pike.
Okay, Jetta, Jude Bolton, they're all there. Jetta runs onto it from the pocket, takes them on, handballs it to Jude Bolton, boundary line. He'll get a ball in.
First option was the best. You got to give the first option. You either kick it long to the top of the square to Goods, or give the handball to Bolton. And great play by McVeigh though. He was wearing him. He knew that he was beaten for speed. So just that lack of decision there from Leroy.
Back into play. Mumford, secondary knock. Prismal, Goods came at him.
Well done.
And now he's over it. And he had his prior. That's dead. Got to be gone.
Don't give it to Goodsy though. Got the boundary line, just not at the minute.
But not to Goods or Jetta.
Bolton is a good chance for me. A tough one for a right footer.
Colby, what are the inside 50s this quarter?
16-8 by Sydney's way, mate, so they're well and truly dominating this quarter.
And Gary Rowan seems to be coming off the ground.
Yeah, he's coming to the bench, so just having a rest for the last quarter.
Jude Bolton regularly now gets more tackles than kicks in a game. 10 tackles last week and 7 kicks. And he hasn't even scored.
Just dropped it on the outside of the boot and
it's probably
slid off with the wet ball.
I know it's only the third quarter. It's probably half a win for Sydney because it only allows Essendon to go out of one side of the ground.
Well, it did.
Well,
McVeigh short to Hocking.
You're right, Spud, but some loose checking on that occasion from the Swans have opened up the ground.
If you've joined us late, the biggest lead either team has had the entire afternoon here has been 7 points. It's been tight all afternoon and we've had 16 lead changes. Dempsey kicks it inboard. Ryder. Players marking on their chest now with this slippery ball. A minute to three-quarter time. Puts it up. O'Keefe does go.
Well done.
Big
Good
fist.
courage.
Down to Melksham. Tries to run through trouble. Gets the handball up. Zaharakis from 40. Kicks toward goal.
great goal.
We've got another lead change. Bombers by a point.
It's a cracking game.
Great game of
Absolute
footy.
cracking game. The tackling pressure, the speed of the Essendon Football Club, and Zaharakis had the bit of class just to get around, get the option, get around a couple of players, straighten up and kick a very good goal in wet conditions. But tackling pressure has certainly been the biggest asset for the Bombers today. Clearance work for the Sydney Swans, so this will go down to the wire. Lead changes have been coming thick and fast through this last term.
First goal of the afternoon for David Zaharakis. 72-71.
He's presented well, Zaharakis, so you know he's got great speed. Look at Mummy second effort.
Mumford, his own clearance again. Adam Goods rises. Got hands to it. Almost a kick. Was that counted as a kick from Bevan? White goes off the deck. Well, scores or level at half-time. Good chance they'll be level at three-quarter time.
Sydney just have to understand the kick-ins. Essendon are getting in very quickly. To Essendon's credit, they're not giving Sydney a chance to get set up either, by the way.
Howlett inboard. Winderlick, little fumble with a slippery ball. Kicks it off the deck. Lovett Murray. Prismal. Inside 50 and wide. Zaharakis again. Got hands to it. Matner, a fist and then a toe. Jack hugs the boundary. 10 seconds left. Maybe enough for Jenner to kick it inside 50. They need a mark. He needs to be quick. Can they get it in time? Bevan gets there, can't mark it, off hands. 3/4 time at the SCG, and it's status quo.
What an arm wrestle.
Scores were level at half-time, level again at 3/4 time. Grab a coffee, we'll meet you back here. 10-12-72, 11-6-72. Halfway point, 6 wins and 5 losses.
2 less on the bench for Essendon. Hill and Moncrief's off.
Well, they had for most part of just before the ball went up, 3. 1 on the bench.
McVeigh long, tough ball to mark in these conditions. Hurley keeps it in, and the wisdom was okay. Rolling ball from Atkinson, beats Prismal. O'Keefe can't handle it, ball in.
McVeigh's going for a world record here at clearances at the moment. He's at 13.
He's been outstanding. But what I meant, Nathan Lovett-Murray actually started out on the ground and then at the last second ran off. They had 19 out there.
It helps clearance-wise if you've got a dominant ruckman, and Mumford's been that again today.
Well, these conditions will suit too. The bigger...
Oh, God! Huge decision, that.
Bigger frame of Mummy versus the lighter frame of Paddy Ryder. He's pushed forward too here, Mummy.
Jude Bolton to Mumford, and Hance, not quite. Second grab wasn't there. Shaw back to Mumford, back to Shaw. Little flick on from Goods. Through the legs of Kirk. Jetta knocks it away. White hunts it down outside 50. O'Keefe hacks it inside 50. McVeigh saving mark.
It won't take long for these footballs to actually get waterlogged. So the first 5 minutes of this quarter are very important while the ball still is reasonably dry and flies through the air well.
Ball knocked away from Gumbleton. Good attack, Jude Bolton. He's been superb all his career, not just today. Lays another tackle there. Hanbury likewise, a tackle on Pears. Got it up to McVeigh just in time. Davey and Shaw. Shaw sought the boundary.
Good contest from Davey and experience from Shaw. Just a defensive spoil over the line with his right fist.
Yeah, well, Jude Bolton, he's had 27 disposals, 18 of them contested and 8 clearances. So that's an in and under game at its absolute best.
Lonergan runs into a gang tackle. Got the handball up just in time. Towards half forward from Melksham. Zaharakis attacked it well both times. Lays a tackle.
He did not drag it in.
He did not drag it in according to the umpire. Ball up.
And Mumford just come in to support his teammates and Jack and McVeigh. And I think Jack's come out reeling out of that pack and's gone off for a bit of a spell after head contact. Friendly fire.
How is he, Colby?
He's just getting assessed now by the doc, but him and Gary Rowan have both had a little bit of trouble late in that third term, but Jack will be okay. He's a tough boy.
And a friendly fire.
You sound like you're under a tarp there, Colby.
I am under a tarp, but at the same time I can see Jackie Boyd.
Off the deck from Prismal. Lewis Roberts-Thompson pursues, make sure it goes out.
Is that the tarp there, Colby, just there?
that was it.
Oh, he is Oh, yeah. Gee. He is tough.
Rain continues to fall. Mumford from behind. Kennedy might go off the deck here. Does. Little toe poke. And another one from Rowan.
Just on the ground, Rowan.
Goods and Hocking. Hocking slides into it. Rowan follows it up. Tries to hunt it down. Little knockout. Melksham. Lonergan. Playfair over him.
Trying a bit of soap the ball now.
It's like the pig that was let loose out here a few years ago.
Many years ago. You playing in that game, Spoke?
Yeah, I was. And there was one guy that wasn't particularly happy with it.
I tell you what, the kid that's wearing his number now goes okay.
He does go extremely well.
Mumford knocked down. O'Keefe. It's a handball away. Jude Bolton tries to knock it on. Shaw. Boundary line again. Used wisely.
Now the Sydney Swans have pushed most of their forwards up around the 50-metre arc and leaving space over the back. So with the wet ball, if you can carry the congestion and kick it long and let it run towards the goals, often it's easier to run and pick it up rather than take an outright mark on the lead.
Got the free kick from the back. By the way, any young kids that are watching this game, we're talking about a guy by the name of Tony Lockett. Ask your dad about him. McVeigh thumps it long.
He went all right.
Goods under it and beaten again and almost a free. Yeah. It's against Goods the hockey.
The arm back over the shoulder.
Yeah, it was a flailing back with his arm there. We'll just see here. The arm. Yeah, good decision for the umpire. Very good decision.
And it's a little more dangerous to go across the face of goal in defence with a slippery ball, driving rain. Lewis Roberts-Thompson and Kirk, third man up.
Kieran Jack back on the ground, which is a real positive there for Sydney. You see him there just in the middle of the screen.
So just repeating the Swans with a full rotation off the bench. But the Bombers, no Monfries and no Hill. Both gone for the game, and Brent Stanton was a late withdrawal from the ball in. Ryder can't trap it.
Paddy Ryder playing a lone hand in the ruck with Hill off, getting double teamed by Mumford and Mike Pike.
And I'm sure the ruckman, if they're not aware, they need to be aware. This ball isn't going in too far. They're struggling to get a lot of purchase of the throw-in. It's only going in shallow.
Mumford, little flick, back of the pack. Jude Bolton, the trap, kicks it inside 50, and that's a win. Every metre counts right now. And Mumford comes off. Lee Colbert, Pike back on. That's a big change.
It is a big change. His big mummy's worked overtime today, so coming for a spell. He'll come back on.
He will come back on, probably for the last 10 minutes of the game, you'd think.
22 clearances, Bolton and McVeigh between them.
Pike did well there. Knocked it down, and it's tied up in there. Umpire gave them time.
Well, Essendon got an extra at the stoppage, which means that Heath Grundy, just behind the play here, is on his own for Sydney. So if Essendon kick it long, they'll be outnumbered.
Hanbury trying to reach in. Lonergan. Umpire's barracking at the moment.
Sounds like the old mini-league days.
And you've got to be cautious here. You know the umpire's keen to pay a free.
He is, and there's a defensive pattern from the Sydney Swans.
And Playfair's coming off, and I think that's a good move with Bird coming on. Just 3 talls in the forward line in these conditions, probably one too many.
Boundary line, ball in.
Well, these throw-ins aren't going to get any further in because he's having plenty of throws. Henry Playfair gets a bit of attention from the trainers on the boundary line.
It's a big last quarter. There's been seesawing all day. The winner nearly just about cements their spot in the top 8. The loser are back in the ruck.
Well, it's a massive bonus to go in. It's about keeping your win-loss ratio in your favour in the positive. Going 5 and 6, you're just behind the 8 ball.
You're starting to rely on other teams to lose. That's the trouble.
Oh, he's hurt himself, has he? Zaharakis.
It's Melksham. And he's still outside the boundary line, crouching, Jack Melksham.
He's coming off. Gee, this will be 3 down for Essendon.
Well, he rolled his ankle and missed last week. That's the reason why he missed last week, a rolled ankle.
It was a left ankle that he's hurt there.
Yeah, gee.
And he looked very ginger, so coming from the ground and struggling on that left ankle.
It could be the same one. Ball in, so they're down to one rotation on the bench now, the Bombers.
That sounds strange, but the wet conditions may suit. Like, you'd still have to have 4 on the bench, don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot of run, as we've seen in the first 5 minutes of this last quarter.
So he just slides from under him, loses the sprigs, and just rolls that left ankle.
Lovett Murray feeds it back. Dempsey hacks it out of defensive 50. Gumbleton attacks it hard. Can't mark. Started well, but it's been lean times for Scott Gumbleton in the second half. 2 first half goals, none since.
Kirk and Watson off again, Colby.
Come for a spell, mate. Just keeping it real for this last half. They'll go back on again.
And there's actually a concern, as you would have just seen Colby run past you, was Reece Shaw has gone down into the rooms with the doctor. So there's some attention to Reece Shaw, which will be of concern at this stage of the game.
Downfield.
Dempsey to McVeigh, who got a free kick downfield, so Atkinson will take it. In fact, he gives it up to Zaharakis. Open forward line if he gets it in quickly.
Yeah, Grundy's floating back as a loose man.
Yeah, just getting in there in those conditions, though. Anything can happen with those conditions.
Hacks it high. Gumbleton can't get there in time. Smith can't mark it. Hits the deck. Welsh knocks it out in the Prismal direction. Jude Bolton hands it back. Smith, Kennedy. He wobbles it outside defensive 50. Bombers have the numbers here. Just off the bench, Playfair. They did have the numbers. Fresh man on. They've still got the numbers. It's a 2-on-1. Zaharakis goes back to go forward. Atkinson touches it on the deck. Wise move. Thumps it long to the square. Gumbleton half held. Grundy.
Grundy once again, that loose man defence. Spot on, Spud. Still getting in there, put him under pressure, but you need a contest from the other forwards, even if it's 2-on-1.
Yeah, but you have to kick it to
Rowan to
advantage.
Goods, guys. He's on his own here. Can turn and hit the lead from 50. Rolls it low, keeps it on the deck. Hits the post. Score still level.
If it's that long kick back into the Essendon forward line, he knew that Grundy was there, but just had to kick it to advantage of Gumbleton. He kicked it right where Grundy was.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. Not that he's going to take a mark. It's difficult to take a mark, but make a contest is very important.
Howler slipped from his grasp. Kennedy might get this on the boot. Does. Not sure about the kick though. 3 metres. Howler gets it back again. Not 15. Zaharakis. Love it, Murray. Spent it before he'd earned it. Goes back in and knocks it out through the legs of Prismal. Gets one for in the back. No. Umpire allowed play to go on initially.
Oh, it's off the ball against, is it
You
Marty
can't block these runs 70 metres ahead of the ball.
It's against Mike.
So this will be Jenner's free kick for the Bombers on 50.
Let the hold go, and then you've gone and bumped him 70 metres ahead of the ball.
Well, there's the
Looking straight
explanation.
at you.
A block from Marty Matner on Jeddah.
Well, if it's a body block, I can't see whether that's a free kick.
Hurley for the lead. Long bomb. Goal square. They lead by behind.
You're right, Spud. You would have been a little bit flat if you couldn't block your full forward in your day.
I think you bumped him. That's a block. I'm going to pay a free for that.
I'd like to have a look at it because a bump or a block doesn't constitute a free kick, in my opinion. If it's head high, it does, but you're allowed to shepherd in our game.
Malcheski heads wide. Well, technically not if it's 5 metres off the ball.
You might, well, yeah, you're right. It's
We
probably off the ball.
Yeah, we can't shepherd off the ball, but you had body contact, and as a full-back, you like to try to steer your opponent to where you want to go. So we're not sure how significant the block was.
Back into play. Pike. Ryder. Pike tries to get his own clearance. Mumford style. Watson got a push. No play on advantage. So 2 very important frees paid by Steve McBurney in the last couple of minutes.
Western are pressing at the moment. They're pressing. Any score is a good score in these conditions.
Absolutely. Watson halfway through this final term. Puts it inside 50. Low ball. Davey steals. Atkinson ripped free. Prismal scoops it out. Jenner from the pocket and has that scored just behind.
Some nice ball handling from Prismal to get the ball out to generate that shot at goal. It wasn't rewarded in the end, but slippery conditions, always going to be hard to get those clean possessions.
13 goalless minutes so far in this final term. Long kick in the Goods direction. Myers with the fist. Prismal having a good final term. Wobbles it back towards attacking 50. Howlett up, can't mark. Winderlich from 50. It's sailing long. It's very long. Goal square. Roberts Thompson. Last line of defence.
Yeah, I want to try to get it out to Jesse White's out in the wing by himself. He'll be 2 kicks away.
Bird turns around, could have gone for that. White. Watson back of that pack. Clean gather. McVeigh from the wing. Gumbleton half forward. Good fist away, but he gathered the crumb. Takes on Malcheski. Welsh. Watson. High. Mumford. Off hands. Rowan tried to knock it on. Jude Bolton, he could go for goal. Long kick towards the square. Goods feeding back. Hocking. Goods. And not a bad option there from Adam Goods.
And good work from Hocking. That was always a dangerous situation running back towards goal. As we see, Reece Shaw has come back from the rooms, had the attention of the doctor, so he'd suggest probably a little injection into a hot spot to get him through the rest of the game.
Ball short throwing. Jack gets himself free, kicks toward goal and misses. It's a 1-point game.
He's pulled it too far then. It's a good pick up and snap, but just pulled it around too far. Got to hold the ball in to their forward 50 now, the Sydney Swans. Likewise, Essendon need to run it out, but it's going to be very difficult.
Dempsey,
not a great
wide.
kick.
In fact, it's okay. Almost out on the full off a shoe of Lovett Murray. Ball in. Driving rain still. The crowd huddled under cover, huddled under plastic, huddled in hope. And now the roar around the SCG. Mumford knocks it down. O'Keefe floats it inside 50. Jesse White, he's been the star today. Peels back onto it. Hurley takes it out.
See Jude Bolton there pleading for deliberate, but there was a contest there. He loves those conditions, Jude Bolton. He's had another 5 contested possessions. In this quarter, it's up to 22.
He needed some support from the crowd, I reckon, to get that decision over the line.
Mumford front spot. Dempsey ducked into that tackle. Jude Bolton, speak of the devil, misses. It's across the face. And we'll get a ball in. Behind there would have tied the scores, but given the ball to the Bombers.
Good result here. So I think they'll take this. They're looking dangerous.
Yeah.
Trying to open up this stoppage here. They know Mummy's got an advantage. They've opened up an area in front of him.
Mumford tries to flick back. Lonergan gets the important clearance. Melksham, Malcheski gets there first. Melksham well hassled, almost dragged off it. Melksham still goes hard. Gumbleton almost got in his way. Malcheski wins the battle. Kicks wide, too wide. Just touches the line. Out of play.
Oh, Joe Watson's bleeding. Look, he's pointing like a clay court in tennis. There's the mark.
Well, can the umpire come over and have a look?
Near his feet. There's the mark. It's near his right foot.
He's been watching too much French Open.
Can get the overrule, of course.
Ball knocked down.
In tennis, that is.
Hanbury. Had a quieter day at the office today. Daniel Hanbury, but still time to get a little louder. 10 minutes left.
No, it's been good coaching from Matty Knights. You
Here's
just
the
see
kick.
the kick from Malcheski right near the umpire. He's got the best view.
You have to go with the umpire on that,
no doubt.
Almost hit his toe.
It was a good try from Job, though.
Good
Always
appeal.
ask the question, Brian.
Shaw, kick smothered. Good attack, Lovett Murray. Lonergan comes up with it. And just travelled the required 15. O'Keefe marks. Pumps it back long. A kick and hope. Adam Goods is down there. White's with him. Hocking.
He's been good hocking.
He has been outstanding. Kirk dives in. Off hands. Hack forward. Bevan. Oh, he thought about it, but he can go back and give the Swans the lead.
Great work from Kieran Jack again. In congestion, his ability to get the ball onto the boot quickly was outstanding.
Kirk's initial assault on the ball was unbelievable. That's what you want from your skipper, Captain Kirk.
First goal of the final term puts the Sydney Swans in front by 5 points.
It's been a cracking game, Spud, and in these conditions is just going to enhance the game. Kirk has been outstanding. He's had 13 disposals, but the attack on the ball, as you pointed out, has been just outstanding, as it always is. But he had to put his head over the ball, going low and hard. Bevan held his width. I mean, there's a mass of players around the ball. There's nothing wrong with holding your width as an attacking player. And a lucky kick, or a good kick, lucky spot, good mark.
As is the modern game, Paul Bevan kicks 2 goals and runs to the bench. And just a real brain fade there from one of the Essendon boys to allow Bevan to get goal side unopposed.
They're tossing the ball up down the middle, and that didn't favour Mumford then. Knock on, Winderlich for the lead back for the Bombers, sends it long. Roberts Thompson marked that on the line. He could have punched it through. Presence of mind there. He just took the mark.
He's like a wicket at the moment.
He's getting those back there, and they've got a loose man in defence, and that is Grundy.
He's played on. He's played on outside the line.
Played on, ran outside, and the umpire allowed it.
No, well, the umpire actually put his hand up, then decided against it, the boundary umpire.
But when he kept running forward, so it meant that he was outside the line.
Welsh to Atkinson. Feeds it wide. Hocking an opportunity. Runs off Goods. Pumps it long. Gumbleton, Watson, Roberts Thompson. Malcheski had it but lost it. Ball knocked back out. Jetta plays for the free.
Tough in there.
Smith plays for the ball. McVeigh, Roberts-Thompson bumped on the kick. Bouncing ball, big gather coming up here.
Trouble.
That was huge. McVeigh dived in, but he's over it. Jude Bolton, boundary line was what he was seeking. He doesn't get it. Myers, corralled, caught. Kennedy drags him down. Dempsey takes it across. 8 minutes left.
Let's have a look at this replay. You just see Matt the mark the ball. Now there's the mark.
He's over the line by a foot.
Played on.
We didn't see
He's
the
trying
umpire.
to keep the ball in. Now,
the umpire in the background, actually live, he put his hand up to signal, but then thought better of it and let it go.
McVeigh free against Hanbury.
Well, he's been outstanding on Hanbury. Hanbury's only had the 10, 25 last week.
Puts it up high. Gumbleton. Watson off hands. Kicks toward goal. It's wide. And a ball in. A win for the Bombers. A behind, no good to them right now.
Good in this situation. Good with their clearance work. Good with the big body ruckman. On this occasion, it was Mumford who'll come over and contest with Gumbleton.
Gumbleton with the knockdown. Malcheski runs into a tackle. Dragged down. It came out as you heard the umpire say. Not clear. Melksham gives it up. He ducked into that Dempsey and now he's gone.
Too long of a tackle. 50 metres.
And 50, that's harsh.
Oh, that hurts.
It really hurts
100
because
metre penalty.
they were
That's
pressing the
abuse.
Bombers and now it relieves
That's
the
abuse.
pressure valve.
100 metre penalty.
100 metre
no.
penalty.
Kicking the ball away. Second one for abuse.
Well, there's your explanation from umpire Simon Meredith. 50 metres for the kick after the free and another 50 for the abuse.
Well, Matthew
terrible.
Knights will be absolutely filthy because you've gone outside the realms of team. You can see Matty there. I feel for Matty Knights because they're right in the
Too
game
long in
here.
the tackle.
Yeah, you've just taken... You've gone outside the realms of team, purely and simply. You can argue as much as you like. You wear the 150.
What's
The ball got kicked away and then
Like
it's
a-
clear abuse.
Lack of discipline. That's all it is. In these sort of conditions, that's a
This
massive
hurt.
penalty.
This goes through, it really hurt.
That could be the game loser. He's missed. Marty Matlin, normally more reliable than that. And it's a 6-point game. One kick in it. And given that scores were level at half-time and at three-quarter time, we might get a draw yet.
I'll tell you one guy's relieved of that, Courtney Dempsey.
Oh, isn't he white? I mean, it's probably typical of today's game. The margin hasn't been more than 7 points for the game. That would have blown it out to a massive 11.
Dempsey thumps it long. Roberts-Thompson there. Couldn't get near it for the spoil. Lonergan was there but couldn't mark it. O'Keefe overruns it. Lonergan back in. Drags it down.
He's in trouble. No, he got it out well
Got it
done.
out just in time. Matner slung. Trying to make amends for his miss. 6.5 minutes left. Malcheski thumps it wide. Boundary line a little too quick for everyone. And we'll get a ball in it. Everyone can take a breath.
Mumford to come to the bench, which is interesting. Pike going back on with only 6 minutes to go.
I reckon that'll be only for a couple of minutes, Colby.
2-minute burst. Some experience from Jared McVeigh in that contest. The last one had the opportunity to hit a player high for Essendon, but it was very much controlled.
Jetta had it but slipped. Back in there. Pack forms. Ball up, and the umpires have been tossing it in the air in this final term.
Well, there's Grundy going behind the play again. So he'll be the loose player. And if Essendon get a quick kick out of this pack, Essendon got an extra one at the stoppage, which is okay. If they win it quickly, Grundy's on his own inside Essendon's forward 50.
And he spent most of this quarter as the loose man, which is a good move. His equivalent at the other end of the ground. Trying to work out actually who it is. It looks Dempsey.
From the ball up.
Dempsey.
Jetta thought about going off the deck. Prismal, little toe poke. Jetta. And we'll get another ball in, and we're inside 6 minutes. Huge game this for momentum. Essendon come into this game having won their past 3 games. Sydney Swans came in having lost their past 4.
Now Bevan's been pushed forward as an extra player in the forward 50 for the Swans.
Howlett tries to rake it free. O'Keefe knocks it free. Jack, Winderlick, Shaw, ball in.
This is a clear win, I think, for the Sydney Swans with the Grundy situation. Loose man in defence, and has been managing to find a little bit of space where Essendon's spare player, he's in congestion. He's been surrounded by the forwards like Playfair, And I think it's Bevan who pushed up to surround
Away
him.
the Bombers.
Atkinson wobbles it to half forward, attacking at Mattner, left it behind. Roberts Thompson, clever toe poke pickup, dragged down, lost it, no free. Mattner attacks it, almost a little overzealous there. He pushed Jetta into the deck and will get a ball up.
A little unlucky, I think. Leroy Jetta on that occasion could have got a push in the pack decision. Comes away from that contest a little bit sore, actually.
Pike down to McVeigh. Jetta couldn't get a toe on it. Welsh dives in. Jack just as hard. Welsh gets the handball out. Mattner gets it on the boot. A behind to be handy for the Swans here. Hurley too high on Bolton. Bolton wins the free.
He deserves it. He's been absolutely unbelievable to start this last quarter. That's his ninth contested possession this quarter.
Gives to Malcheski. Thumps it long. Wide inside 50. Second, third grab. He can seal the deal.
He's got it, big Jesse White. That's a very good contested mark. A second grab, as you should do in wet conditions, even hit it with the flat palms to make sure the ball pops up. Second grab as Mike Pike comes from the ground to give Big Mummy a run for the last few minutes. Here's the contact on Bolton. Now, he's always a massive chance to get high contact and get a free kick because he spends most of the game with his head over the ball. So it was a great effort, as was this. Jesse White put it up in front, second, third grab. Now a shot at goal from 35.
Huge kick this, bends it back, hits the top of the post, but they lead by 7.
Just getting back to Jude Bolton. He's had the 34 disposals, 25 contested possessions, and 12 tackles.
Play on.
Love it, Murray called to play on. Threads the handball through to Welsh.
Watson's long.
Ton of time left, 4 minutes and change. Watson, good chest mark, simply needs to go back and kick the goal, and he knows it.
He'll try and either pass this. A couple of weeks ago, he feigned that he was going long, and then all of a sudden he squirted it out to the fat side. You can have a look at him looking around, so it'll either be a handball.
I'm not sure if he can afford to do that.
Or Hurley. Is Hurley going to come around the back? No.
He doesn't know how long left. He looks up at the scoreboard. It says 26 minutes, and he knows there hasn't been many goals scored this final term. He's the captain. He's the best and fairest. He's the hero if he kicks this and keeps them alive. It's short, off hands, play on. Jetta! He's slotted it! It's a 1-point game!
Almost from the same position as that 1996 prelim final where Tony Lockett had the kick from a similar sort of distance. He kicked the point but carried the distance. On this occasion, it was to a dangerous situation. Told the pack, massive players. He would have liked to have thought the Swans defenders could get it rushed through for a behind. But some nice work from Leroy Jetta to kick it off the ground, scrub one through the goals. Marty Mattner's done all he could to get the foot onto it, but was a little slow.
Well, he's been unbelievable. The Sydney defenders, Mummy's tried to take the mark. I'm not sure whether he should have come in with the flight of the ball and hit it through for a point, but game on.
Absolutely, and the clearance important here. And Essendon get it. Watson to Atkinson. Slips a pass, but it's way wide. 27 minutes gone, 3 minutes left. Sydney by a point. There's been 19 lead changes in this game.
Both Essendon just about on their feet. But they've only had the one player on the bench in the last quarter.
And this man, Ryder, he's been doing a power of work and wins the tap out.
Mumford slips, goes back in. Myers with him. Ball slides out. If you've joined us late, the biggest lead we've had, and both teams have had a share of it, has been 7 points. It's been tight from the get-go.
It's 130 interchanges to Sydney, 107 to Essendon. Lack of numbers, lack of run, lack of rotation.
Mumford down to Jack. Kirk can't shuffle it out. Tied up in there initially. Malcheski tries to get through traffic. Gives to Kirk. Needs to flick this up. Does. Mumford gets a boot on it. Wide ball. Rowan. Hurley. Hurley thought about keeping it in. Rowan sends it inside 50. White gets there. Slides in. Can't half volley it. Ball back alive. Pears threads his way through. Myers back into traffic. Back to Pears. Back to Myers. Back towards a teammate. Knocked away. Myers back in. Over it. Got it. Gone.
Gone. Cooked.
Oh, gee. Well, we got 2 and a bit minutes to go.
And Gary Rowan has just come on the ground. There was a change. Playfair. made the change. Playfair came off. Gary Rowan just went on about 30 seconds ago and got involved 3 times.
Well, Gary Rowan wouldn't know how long left. There's 29 minutes gone. He might think the siren's about to go here.
Well, here's where he does need to go for a goal, because another point would be a good result.
Should have used more time. Kicks it low and kicks the point to give it back to the Bombers.
The Bombers need a goal to win.
Well, the Bombers have been good getting out from their kick-ins.
Need to play man-on-man now, Sydney. No free player whatsoever.
Well, they've got to know what they're doing, whether it was a zone or man-on-man. They've got to be in the place quickly.
The behind has at least made the draw unlikely. Welsh wide. Dempsey bangs it long. Bouncing ball. Lonergan gets there. Grundy gets there. Roberts-Thompson to help out. Tied up. Stolen. Crowd roar. Hanbury shoots it over the top. Bird from the wing. Long towards Goods. Off hands. Goods and Rowan both down there. Rowan overran it. It'll be fitting if Jude Bolton was the hero.
Bolton
Gives it to Goods. Set up by Jude Bolton. And Goods makes it an 8-point lead. It's the biggest the lead's been all day.
Jude Bolton, we've talked about him all day, Alistair. That was another contested possession. He's had 26 contested possessions. You can talk about possession in today's football, but he's won the hard ball. Have a look at this front carry here from Sydney. They've willed themselves to this contest, and there's Bolton again. Great awareness, took the tackle on, knew that Goods was out the back, and Adam Goods. What a magnificent goal. Great team goal. Great play, Jude Bolton.
You just can't keep a great man down. Adam Goods, 2 goals. He's had a lean day at the office. They are 1 minute away.
Yeah, Dwayne, is this the biggest lead of the game?
Absolutely. Watson.
8 points.
It's taken nearly 4 quarters to get the biggest lead of the day.
To Hurley. McVeigh just need to maintain possession here. Almost don't need to go forward. If they go back, they'll win. He heads wide. Boundary line will win. Hanbury knows it.
That's a good kick from Reece Shaw. Identified there was a one-on-one contest, so speared the ball in low towards his teammate and also the boundary line. And you think Mumford in this situation should better bottle this up. He won't be looking to clear the contest.
Mumford down. Shaw. The Sydney chant rings around the SCG and will get a ball in with 37 left. Won't be enough time for the Bombers. They're quick, but they're not that quick.
Mumford once again look to keep it low towards the boundary line.
Mumford slaps it down. It's been a tight, hard, fierce contest all afternoon. Second half played in rain, and Matthew Knights knows his boys will go to the halfway point of the season tonight. 5 wins and 6 losses. The Sydney Swans will be the opposite. They'll be 6 and 5.
They've been brave, the Bombers. You can't underestimate the lack of numbers on your bench.
Speaking of brave, Jude Bolton towards full forward. No mark taken. Goods peels onto it. Kicks around the body toward goal high. Off hands. Behind.
25 clearances between Bolton and McVeigh. 56 clearances to Sydney, 30 to Essendon. 14 to McVeigh, 11 to Jude Bolton.
And Mumford, after 42 hit-outs last week, he's up to 46 at the moment.
There's been many stars for Sydney. A magnificent, incredible, inspiring victory. An outstanding game to watch. It's a pity there had to be a loser. But the Bombers go down by 9. Sydney 12-17, 89. Essendon 12-8-80.
Magnificent game of football, Dwayne. Beautifully called. Man, Alice, I know we've enjoyed it. Sydney have never lost 5 games in a row under Paul Roos, and they continue that streak. They've lost 4 in a row. Desperate to keep in the finals race. Outstanding game from all the boys, both players. Essendon were brave, down to 3 in the last corner. We're talking about toughness, hit over the ball. Jude Bolton, he was one of the better players on the ground today with 26 contested possessions. He's down there with Lee Colbert.
Bolts, what a game of footy, mate. 8 points separated you all day, and 19 lead changes. It was an incredible day.
Oh, it was a huge day. I mean,